Previously on Dungeons and Dragons.
I am ready. There we go. Right.
You were born ready.
I know. The old man stands at the top. At the top? Let's start again. The old man stands at the door to the windmill. No, I'm not. God damn you, all this talk of eating people has thrown me off. The old man stands at the door to the windmill. Yeah. The village around him is calm, serene, peaceful. This is his haven. This is where he rests. The effort of hiding reality from the 7 children that he cares for takes its toll day after day. But here he needs not maintain the magic. Here they are safe. In every reality. Besides him, the dark-skinned, white-haired elf boy stands. They look out over the village together. So what was happening in that basement, grandfather? The boy asks. The old man startles, quickly recovering his pose. This one's always sneaking about, barely making a sound. He ruffles the drow child's hair as he regains his composure. Who knows? It was all very strange. Gunther Gunterson was a well-respected member of the refuge community. He had been selling meat in Neverwinter for a couple of decades. His sausages were renowned. But for some reason, in the depths of the basement, he had captive goblins and mushroom folk and the body of Master Shigul. Wu was beside himself, as I'm sure you can understand. The Myconids told Darwin that they were being harvested. Their spores, you see, can give a temporary connection of the mind. It allows them to communicate with each other. And any creature, really, share their thoughts and ideas. It's remarkable. And there were the remains of fire beetles there, too. Small vials that held the liquid essence of those insects' ability to glow in the dark. And this huge still that reeked of strong alcohol. All very, very peculiar. And Wu found on the shaman, as he had with some goblins back in the mine in the Feywild, coins that came from Neverwinter. All of them bore the same date, 1511, 2 years ago. And featured the image of a handsome, clean-shaven young man by the name Ranier. Ha! Lord Ranier, Neverember, ruler of Neverwinter. Curiously, all other coins that bore this man's image featured him with a full beard, but on these he was clean-shaven. Of course, any coins minted before 1511 showed a different man, the name of Daggalt. But that, of course, was no mystery. Daggalt Neverember had been the city's ruler until a couple of years ago when he passed, although some said he hadn't ruled the city for some time, old, frail, and a little unwell as he had been. So these coins, they featured an unbearded Ranier. Were they a mistake? An oddity? Rare collector's items? Perhaps Ranier grew a beard after they were minted, and more coins were produced to reflect his new rugged appearance. If only things were that simple. The old man considers telling the next part of the story carefully. But this drow child is not disturbed by descriptions of death and violence like the others. This troubles the old man. Master Shigul's body was covered in scars, more than Wu remembered him having. His throat looked like it had been slit and healed many, many times over, and his brain was missing too. Blah! Bad way to go and no mistaking. Darwin suggested returning to Lady Rothe, getting the Myconids to safety. Where's Moxie? Where's Fergus? They kept asking. The fawn girl had seemingly disappeared, just like Wu a day earlier. But before there was time to ponder such things, the law showed up, and there was an awkward moment as it looked like violence might occur, which wasn't at all helped by Wu trying to flirt with one of the city watch, and then weirdly trying to hide in broad daylight in the middle of a street, 10 feet from the people he was trying to hide from. What was going through his mind? The fool! And then pop, out of nowhere, Arcut, Tiefling, the big lawman of the city. Twice in a week, he had found Dokal, Voldron, and Uther at the scene of a violent death. Last time he had told them not to leave town. This time, he took the head of Gunther Guntherson from Dokal and asked it questions. And incredibly, the head answered. Neat trick for a policeman, that. Gunther, the dead head of Gunther, accused Dokal of his murder, but Arkut seemed not particularly interested, and pressed the dead butcher about the goblins. What were they for? He asked. To go where I could not, to bring what we need, said the head of Gunther Guntherson. Who is we? Asked Arkut. We are everywhere where light is not. We arise, we bring darkness. That's the thing about the dead, you see. They will speak, but they only tell you what they want to tell you. And they can be infuriatingly vague and cryptic. And he had this rat, Arkut. He named it Raticus. Told him to watch over the crime scene. How strange. And then he whisked the party away to a fancy room in Castle Never. Eventually, they met with the ruling council of Neverwinter, some of which they already knew. Lord Neverember himself was a curious man. He knew already of the temple to Tiamat. He had a key of his own, he said. Like Shagul and Miss Rothe, he had once been an adventurer, until he took an arrow to the groin. Sworn to protect the temple he was, like the others. And besides those three, and Elia, and a handful of others, few people knew of the temple to Tiamat. But now these 6 fresh-faced adventurers knew of it as well. And they had just told the entire council! The Lord Protector took blood from each of them, said he could use it to find them. He would know if someone spoke of the temple, and he would know who had spoken of the temple, and he would be able to find them with the blood. But Wu, tricksy little fellow that he was, in all the excitement, crammed into this small chamber with all these people, he managed to slip a sample of someone else's blood into the vial he was given. That won't come back to bite anyone, I'm sure. So Lord Neverember ended up with samples of Voldron, Darwin, Tabitha, Uther, and 2 of Dokal. But none of Wu, nor of Moxie. Lord Neverember spoke of fate, how he believed that it was fate that had brought them all together, how Uther, Dokal, and Voldron had broken a smuggling ring and come to the attentions of Miss Rothe, and then Moxie, Wu, Dokal, and Tabitha's arrival from the Feywild just the right time in search of kidnapped Feyfolk, these 2 groups merging, finding themselves in a butcher's shop with missing myconids, fire beetles, and illegal unregistered goblins, all came together. It wasn't just random chance, he said. It was fate. It was meant to be. Lady Jasmine, High Priestess of Saloon, read from a scroll, a vague thing that Neverember believed predicted these 7 adventurers would appear in Neverember at the time of his daughter's marriage to the son of Queen Titania of the Feywild, and that these adventurers would find the long-lost crown of Alagondar, and that then he, Lord Protector Rania Neverember, would be crowned king. The first king of Neverwinter in over a century. He didn't ask them to find this crown. He told them that's what they were going to do. He was a strange man, Lord Neverember. He seemed a little unhinged at times. Yes. Anyway, Lady Rothe was to lead them on an expedition to find this crown. This was the job she had mentioned a couple of days ago. They would start in Candlekeep, a library of history and knowledge, general magical nonsense, far to the south. They would learn there all they could of the crown. They had 15 days until the wedding. Discussing the murder of Master Shagul, Lady Jasmine mentioned illithids, mind flayers. She theorized that Master Shagul's brain had perhaps been removed to feed such a creature. There had once been a tame illithid in the city, she said. One who had eaten brains for Rania's father to learn their secrets. Strange creatures, illithids. They reproduce by implanting their tadpole-like larvae into an unsuspecting host, and lo and behold, in time, the host turns into one of them. Blah, vile, horrible things. Anyway, turned out all of the party had such a thing in their head, like Wu had done. Of course, Woo's had been removed by those strange yellow skin folks. Anyway, Lady Jasmine removed the parasites and everyone went off happy as Larry, dropping off the Myconids at the Temple of Saloon where Lady Jasmine had promised to keep them safe, visiting Elia, having a whiskey or two as Woo asked for some tips on awakening his inner dragon. Elia seemed to scoff at the idea. Poor Elia. Uther asked for the blessing of Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon. And Elia got a little angry. Afterwards, Lady Rothe said Elia hadn't been the same since Gillian died. Who was Gillian? Asked Uther. Lady Gillian of Waterdeep, arcane advisor to the Council of Neverwinter, Lord Daggalt Neverember's best friend, the woman responsible for sealing the chasm, officially. But most importantly, Lady Gillian had been Elia's wife. No wonder she was so angry, said Woo. She has lost her love. So where was Moxie in all this? Asks the young dark-skinned elf boy. Was she with the yellow folk, like Woo had been? Ah, yes. You're a smart one. But unlike Woo, Moxie didn't almost drown in her encounter with these odd folk. And we'll come back to that another time. That was incredible timing. I swear I didn't plan that.
Hello?
Hi, Leanne.
Hello. I heard my name.
Okay, yeah, you've just missed the recap, Leanne.
Hey.
And then it was a case of what happened to Moxie? Was she with the yellow folk like Woo had been? And the old man says, you're a smart one, but unlike Woo, Moxie didn't almost drown in her encounter with those odd folk.
Oh, yeah.
So nice to have you with us.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening.
I'm having a meltdown.
Let's drink to meltdown.
Yeah. See, to meltdown.
Huzzah!
And
mental.
Since you are having a little bit of a bad day, I'm probably going to heavily edit some of what's about to happen. So if I pause or stutter, don't worry. It's just me making sure I don't give you any further trauma today. Like the good husband I am. So here we go.
Traumatize me. I'm used to it.
Here we go. Moxie. Your eyes flutter open. You feel, how am I hearing myself? Can you mute your mic, Leanne, while I'm... I'll turn your output down or something. I'm somehow getting an echo off you.
How do I do that?
Turn your little wheel down by your ear. Hello? Hello? That's better. Can you still hear me alright?
Your fucking beard! Sorry.
You're a fucking beard!
What the hell? Sorry, carry on.
Okay, Moxie. Your eyes flutter open. You feel groggy. Your vision is a little blurred. Sound comes to you muffled and indistinct. You cannot move. You are standing upright. You don't know where Fergus is, but you can sense his presence somewhere nearby. Slowly, your vision begins to clear. You see the chamber that you're in is about 10 feet square. The walls and floor are not perfectly flat and smooth. There are regular ridges across every surface, like some sort of ribbing. And everything is made from a strange, firm... Johnny, I can see you fucking smiling at that. Everything's made from a strange material, firm beneath your hooves. The ground, the walls, the ceiling are in hues of yellow, purple, and orange. Everything looks organic somehow, not manufactured. But the almost perfect cube shape of the room makes you think, maybe this isn't entirely natural. Make a nature check, please, Moxie.
Oh, God. Why aren't you up here? Like, I'm lost.
Middle of, right, so on your character sheet.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
On your, you found it?
Mm. Yeah, I'm getting there. Oh, I'm stuck.
How can it be difficult to click something? It shouldn't sound like you're exerting yourself that
I
much.
am exerting.
Clicking a button. Anyway. What have we got? A 16. Good. Grown. That's the word that springs to mind as you look at this chamber. It looks like a naturally occurring material that has been grown into shape, like plants and trees were grown to form awnings and shelters back in the Azure Lands by certain peoples, like the druids of the forest do with trees, like the myconids themselves would shape their mushroom habitats through nature magic. This place looks like it was constructed of similar techniques, but it's hard beneath your hooves. It's not a plant. It feels more like rock. Something moves. A section of the ribbed wall parts with a strange sound like a dagger being drawn over a whetstone. Through the newly opened gap come two figures. Both well over 6 feet tall, lean in build, although one is much more muscular than the other. Their skin is pale yellow, although one of them has slightly green tones around the pointed, serrated ears and deep-set eyes. Their skulls are long and angular, with flattened noses. The taller of the two appears to be male. With long dark hair tied into braids, he wears armour of a strange dark grey material that seems to reflect no light. Inset into the armour here and there are red gems like rubies, and the second figure, shorter with russet-coloured hair tied up in a similar style to its companion, is quite clearly female, and she wears lighter-looking armour of the strange metal over just her shoulders and chest, but the rest of her arms and lower half, are covered in fabric wrappings and flowing skirts. They chitter back and forth amongst themselves. Eventually, one of them, the female, grabs your head gently with long, slender fingers, and she leans in very close, peers at you. She closes her eyes, and you feel something dance across your mind. The female reaches into your head, her fingers passing through your skull, and she withdraws in her hand a small, writhing creature of purplish flesh with dark pools for eyes. Oops. Same as what was in Wu's head. Same as what was in everyone else's head. It has far too many tiny little teeth. She peers back to her colleague and speaks in the strange language, but somehow now you understand the words.
Another one! We are getting good at this! We haven't had one explode in almost 12 days! How many is that?
Asks the male.
374 by my count. Qual has been busy.
375, says the male. If we include me, my love. The female, standing so close to you, smiles, and then her attention snaps back to you.
Shit! It's aware! It's awake!
For fuck's sake, not again, says the male. Why can't you keep them under anymore?
It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong.
Twice in 2 days. First the goblin, and now...
I'm telling you, that was no goblin.
Hoblin, whatever. First him, and now this. What is this?
I don't know. Is it some sort of elf? It has the legs of a goat.
Moxie, are you doing or saying anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm just looking a bit weird.
Okay.
Fuck. Traumatized.
Quick, wipe its memory. Put it back where we found it. Let's not lose this one like we did the goblin.
It wasn't a goblin.
Hoblin, whatever. Fucking quickly now. The female reaches towards your head, muttering incantations of arcane power begin to flicker and form around her, and then she screams in absolute agony. She looks down, and you follow her line of sight as you realize you can move your head. And you see standing at her feet, at a mighty 7 inches tall, brandishing his knife, is Fergus, and he has plunged the blade into the yellow-skinned creature's foot. Get your fucking filthy yellow hands off my Moxie, you dirty wee cunt! I'll fuck you up so bad you'll spend the rest of your days eating naught but soup! The female screams and screams. The male looks startled, terrified even, as he begins to back away from this tiny mushroom creature. Holy fucking shit! What is that? He says. Get it off! Get it off! Get it off! Yells the female. Please, says the male, dropping to his knees, clutching his hands together. Do not hurt my mate. She is with child. We do not want to hurt your Moxie. Moxie! Says Fergus. Sorry, you're Moxie. We just want to help. She has been infected by parasite. Almost everyone in this city has. We, my mate and I, we seek to undo what has been done. We remove the parasite. We mean you no harm. Parasite sounds more like the sort of thing a parasite himself would say. What do you think, Moxie? Is he telling the truth, or should I start smacking his bitch up?
I don't know Fergus, but he could be telling the truth. Fergus!
There we go.
Fergus! No, just back off a second, Fergus. Calm down.
He literally takes a half step back, and he's still holding the knife plunged into the female's foot.
Fergus, you feisty little thing.
Well, they're fucking about you. This one put his hand in your head, and that one over there, well, he smells like turkey.
I kind of enjoyed the hand in my head.
All right. Sorry, Moxie lass, I forgot you had a few weird kinks.
I have many, Fergus.
I remember some of the stories you tell me, you dirty wee minx.
It's alright, Fergus, let them do their mysterious things.
Turns back to you. Turns back to the little, to the yellow things and says, you see this cloud of spores released from him, by the way, and he says, right, well, she says you can do what you need to do, but I'm telling you now, one false move and I'll find on your yellow bony ass bitch. The creatures look terrified, and the female focuses her attention on you. The creature is removed now. We can let you go. It's that's it. The procedure is complete. Please, we mean no trouble.
Are you the mechanical elves?
The what?
The mechanical elves.
What the fuck? No, we're the Gith.
Sorry, I thought you were the mechanical elves.
What the fuck?
The mechanical elves that people see.
The male says, "Mechanical elves? What is she talking about?" The female just shakes her head. And then Fergus goes, "You know, the mechanical elves!" And you get the impression he's sending images to these two creatures. One of them says, "Oh, are they elves?" The male says,
Sometimes when I take the mushrooms, I see the mechanical elves.
No, we're not. We're not mechanical elves. We are Gith.
Got that screen behind you, though.
And then he points at himself and says, "Gith Yankee, Gith Zerai," and he gestures towards the female.
Oh, sorry. Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. We have never met one of your kind before. We are trying to help your world, your people. The Mind Flayer, the Illithid, they have infected this city. A long time ago, they destroyed our people's home, then enslaved us. We eventually overthrew them and fled the domain, and our people split in two, Gith Sarai and Gith Yankee. But now we come back together, united. We have grown, evolved, and we seek the Illithid for vengeance and to spare other worlds from our fate. They are here, and we hunt them. We mean you no harm.
I can turn my camera back on.
Okay, thank you. Do you need any assistance with it?
No disrespect, little one, but you are a bit primitive to be hunting such dangerous creatures.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on. So, I'm just gonna nod and smile.
Well, the procedure is done. If you like, we will put you back. If your friend would take his knife away from my pregnant mate's foot, please.
Fergus, I told you.
Fine, Moxie-lass, but don't blame me if all of a sudden she starts, I don't know, shitting acid on your face or something. You don't know what these people could do.
I'm gonna bend down and just gently stroke his noggin. There, Fergus. Thank you. Thank you, my wee Fergus.
Oh, shit in acid, man.
He pulls the knife out, and the female sighs. She looks like she's gone a darker yellow as well, and she says, "Thank you. Look, this doesn't have to end in nastiness. We won't hurt you. We always put our specimens back when we are done, apart from one which kind of escaped us." But she gestures to the ground next to you, and the male touches the wall of the chamber, and you hear this shh sound again, and you can feel the rush of air, and hear the cry of birds. And you glance down next to you, and you see this perfectly square hole has opened in the ground, and through it you can see small buildings and tiny little people moving about. And then you realise they aren't small buildings and tiny people; they're just a long way down, a long way beneath you. And the female clasps a hand over an amulet around her neck, closes her eyes for a moment, and you see light flickering behind her eyelids as she waves a hand, her free hand, over you and Fergus. And then she points at the hole and says, "Please, step into the doorway. You will not be harmed. It is perfectly safe."
I'm gonna look at the square hole and go, "A square hole, eh? I knew you were mechanical elves."
Got to write that quote down. Right. What are you doing, Moxie? Are you stepping into the hole?
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna go, "Adios!" A salute.
Okay, you step into the hole, and you begin to slowly float softly down to the earth with Fergus at your side. Fergus screams the whole way down.
Oh, Fergus.
Uther.
It would have been worse. Woo's trip down.
Yeah, we were nearly drowned. Uther, Ducal, Tabitha, Voldrum, Wu, and Darwin. You've just left the lady's manor, Elia's domain. Lady Rothe has suggested you get some sleep. It is quite late in the evening. And she says to you, "I have a few errands to run first thing in the morning. Meet me at Fiddler's Path. When the clock strikes 9, pause for Johnny and Hayden. Meet me at Fiddler's Path when the clock strikes 9.
What's funny, Woo? I don't get it.
Candlekeep. God damn it. Candlekeep is almost 1,000 miles away to the south, so we need to get a move. But there's still plenty of time to swing by Thundertree if that's something you still want to do."
Yeah, how long is the coast?
How long?
Yeah.
Oh, very.
It's miles away. It's based on Californian coast, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about, I think, from like 10 towns all the way down to what you would call the southern tip of the Sword Coast. It's getting off 2,000 miles. Yeah. It's just. So I would like everyone except Moxie, please, to make a perception check. At disadvantage if you don't have dark vision.
You have to make one for me, Dave, because
Yes, Johnny. I'm aware. I've got your character sheet open already.
Didn't Hayden if you tried downloading the Roll20 app, Johnny?
I've got it on here. It's just with my phone. It's like it's fucking awkward as fuck to use, man.
Badly formatted for your screen.
Yeah, it's a really bad format for it. It's like, it doesn't really work.
Honestly, my phone's much shitter than yours, Johnny, and I've got just a solo one for Roll20 character sheets.
Yeah.
And you can just press, it comes up, you don't see what I'm doing here, but you can roll on your character really easy if you download it. I mean, like,
Right, okay.
Get
down my game.
Get that
What's that?
screen ordered, Johnny, and I'll fucking fit it for you.
Yeah. I ordered the wrong one. So.
I know. Fucking, we're not surprised. None of us are surprised, Johnny.
I know.
Alexa, the tech adept, orders the wrong part. That's an entire episode of Valon's game in itself, isn't it?
Fucking Amazon.
Okay, who have we not got? There we go. Voldrun, Wu, and Darwin. You see, appearing out of nowhere, about 100 feet or so in the air, over to the west, the goat-legged form of Moxie drifting down out of what you can only describe as a square window in the sky. And Voldrun and Darwin, you also see very briefly as this window opens for a moment, you see the flicker of a shape surrounding this square window. And the best way you can describe it is it looks like a giant nautilus shell.
What? Eyes of the Hawk.
Do I have a picture of that? Yes, I do. It looks a bit like this.
Yes, I know what the fuck that is. Fucking Phil.
You know.
Darwin doesn't.
But does Darwin? But does he, James? But does he? Can I have a history check from just you, James?
No.
Disadvantage. Moxie, you continue to descend slowly, carefully. Fergus manages to sort of swim in the air over to your shoulder and clambers onto you, but he's still screaming in your ear. And eventually, you alight on solid ground, about a dozen or so feet in front of your friends. Lady Rothe sees you and says, well, that's new. Let's just have a look. Yeah, I don't need to tell you in the chat because James knows, but Darwin also knows what that is. Okay.
I'm getting that mixed up with an Illithid one. I didn't know what it was, but I presume that's what
that is what it is.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so it's probably 10, getting on for 10 or 11 at night. Lady Rothe has told you she's got a couple of errands to run in the morning, but to meet her at 9 o'clock in the morning in Fiddler's Path. What would you like to do?
I don't know about you guys, I could use an early night. See, a good night's sleep, it helps you face the terrors of the next day.
I think I'm going to go fishing!
No, I need an early night.
Let's have a long rest.
That's exactly what it was.
It's food out of me first to put up the screen.
You'll not get a reaction out of me, Head.
I can't.
Okay, so are you heading back to the inn for the night?
Yeah, that's finally what I'm going to do anyway.
Okay, cool.
What's that, Woo? A wager?
All right.
You'll not get a reaction out of me, Woo.
So you head back to the inn. It's quiet. There's no one in the customer side of the inn. There is Harris, the young halfling, behind the bar, and she looks a little tired herself. And she gives you a weary evening. Everything all right, gents, ladies?
Oh,
Marvellous.
Thunder.
Sorry, Voldrun, are you going back to the inn or are you off back to Lady Roth's?
I'm going back to Lady Roth.
Okay, so you're going back to Lady Roth's. Decal, what about you? Are you heading back to camp, or are you heading back to the inn?
I'll go to the inn. I think it's the closest, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's close by a long way. Okay, so Voldron heads back to the antique store, lets himself... Oh, no, Lady Roth's going with you. You bed down for the night, Voldron. The rest of you bed down in the inn. And eventually, sleep comes to you, each of you. I'd like everyone to roll a d20, please.
Yeah, they'll have to do it for me because I'm fucking useless.
We're all aware of that, Johnny. Don't worry.
Follow the app.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, James, do you want to do one for Alison as well? Because she is technically with you.
Okay. Right, well, I'll load her in.
I just realised I can't see Leanne on one screen, but I can on the other. Just a moment.
Where is Alison tonight?
She's just upstairs at the moment. In the shower. She'll be back soon. Just we're off away for a couple of days, so we're getting stuff ready.
Okay, right.
Where are you off, James?
Just to Yorkshire. Me and Alison and my parents go to Yorkshire for a few days.
Nice.
Just my mum and dad.
You what, buddy?
I'm on holiday with my mum and dad as well this weekend.
Oh, lovely. Quaint.
Quaint?
Nice.
How very patronising of you.
I'm on holiday now.
He's in Centre Parks, Leanne.
Lovely.
That's commitment. That's commitment for you. Hayden's gaming from Centre Parks.
Oh, cool. God, I've not been to Centre Parks in years.
Just wait till back end of the summer when me and Leanne are gaming from Spain. She doesn't know about that yet, but oh shit! Sorry.
Have laptop, will travel.
All right. Gee, the thing is, I'm not joking. Right. I'll just wait for Alan to come back. I'm going to. What's that? Why has the music changed? The music's gone to a weird loop that I don't want it to be on. There we go.
Oh, me noses are cold.
Not a cold-nosed cat.
Yeah, cold and moist.
Yeah. At least it's the nose.
What's in the wrong part of the conversation here?
Chewie. She's over there. She's just chilling. I think she wants to go out. She's telling you something. Open the door, see what she wants.
Squirrel-free feeding frenzy on the table
let
this
her
morning.
out.
It was
Go.
amazing. Crumbs, apples.
I thought you meant you'd been eating a squirrel.
Wasn't you?
I think they are technically classed as a game in this country, aren't they?
Yeah.
Squirrels.
Good eating on a squirrel.
Get them
Brothers
from
eat one.
Dorks and shit. Always makes me think of Squirrel on the Stick from Fallout.
Fallout.
Yeah. All right. So.
Like that, innit? They're like Merrat and stuff.
Come on. What are you doing? Long rest will be achieved. You can reset your hit points. You can reset your spell slots, any class abilities that you have, all that shizzle. Let me just have a look for you, Johnny, see if there's anything you need to do. You're on full hit points, you're on full spell slots.
Right.
I need to do Miss Rothe as well. I can't.
James, what are you doing to your cat? No.
The next person playing with pussy.
Good day. Oh.
We just lost Ed. You right there, Ed?
Sorry. Fucking about again.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. See everyone now.
In the city.
Okay.
Blue Lake District. That sounds naughty.
Okay, so at the moment, I'm just going to move you all where you actually should be.
Maybe it's just me today.
You're down here. No, it's probably Johnny as well.
Oh,
Okay, so sleep comes to each of you, and with it come dreams. Leanne, I don't know if you heard, but you've had a long rest at this point, so you can reset your hit points to maximum and your spell slots.
So many man
upstairs
moves
when I said that.
when I've been swimming today. I think I'm scared for life.
Darwin,
Which wasn't actually fat, but it just literally had a pair of boobs. Couldn't believe it.
you sure it wasn't a woman, Hayden? I mean, it's,
I was trying not to
21st
stare, but I
century.
couldn't help it.
It might have been one of those. Might have been one of those lady men you hear about.
Lady boys.
Well, I'll have a lady
It's so
boy.
weird. They're like,
Hayden, you're
Right.
fixating on the man
they
boobs.
always had a pair of boobs.
We told you earlier that you were very gay
We-
and
we-
you
we
are
saw
not doing
that.
anything to dissuade us.
Dave,
Yeah.
what, can I just press that long rest button?
Yeah, if it works, press it, see what it does. Don't always work.
Has it worked?
Press it, are your hit points at full?
It's gone.
Yeah.
I'm out.
What about your spell slots?
He's still with you, Leanne.
What?
You're not left the house or something. He's disappeared on my screen.
No, she's still here. Can you not hear her?
Hello? Hello?
I can hear and see her fine.
It's just Hayden.
No,
Hayden.
Dave.
No, Dave, your camera's...
take
your
something.
feet-
So I haven't.
Has it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up first.
It's very
it's
quiet,
gone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reload.
It's fucking
I
dark.
don't know why I
Look.
just disappeared
Look
there.
rough. Look rough as hell. Like the world slapped me. The world.
It's not, Leanne, I look like I'm in grayscale all the time, so don't worry about it. Alright, so. Okay, so dreams. Dreams come to each of you. Darwin, you dream of a tree. A vast, ancient tree. Surrounded by dryads, satyrs, and unicorns. The tree stands in a huge crater. And you recognize it. You know this tree. You know its name. Its name is Shadow Splinter. The charm you wear, the small golden sickle hanging on a chain around your neck, it came from Shadow Splinter. The charm. This tree has not always been where it now is, you realize. And nor have you. These lands you walk now, this place, Faerun, Neverwinter, is all new to you, and yet it seems familiar. Like an echo of a memory, you feel like you've been here before. Dukal, you dream of home, of the tribe, of your mother. Diathur staring up at horror, at a vast cloud of darkness that spills from the spire of Castle Never. And there are people, so many people around her, laughing, joyously, dancing, singing, having fun, but she is terrified because she sees the darkness. Voldrum, you also dream of home. Some dark ritual conducted in a deep underground cave. Prayers whispered to Lolth, the Spider Queen. A warband prepares. Driders, 8-legged monstrosities, once kin, now debased hybrids who have failed the goddess. They scuttle up narrow passages of stone towards flickering light. They must wait for cover of darkness. The sunlight burns them. Tabitha isn't here, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I'll come back to it. Your dream is of one single image. An image of your queen. Her skin the colour of honey. Her hair the colour of autumn. Her eyes glow like molten gold. She is beautiful, and she is watching you. She does not speak, and yet you hear her. She needs something from you. Do not forget your mission to watch over and protect. But this journey you will undertake is fortuitous, its timing impeccable. In Candlekeep there is a dagger. You will know it when you see it. Bring me it. Moxie, you dream of the mushroom folk, and they dance and sing and drink their mushroom wine. They are safe in their village on the edge of the Azure Forest. They are home. They have quickly forgotten the trauma of being kidnapped by goblins and harvested for their spores. They are innocent things, the Myconids, oblivious to the cruelty of life beyond their domain, and to the darkness that lurks just around the corner. Uther, you dream of a windmill. It turns lazily in a faint breeze. An old man dressed in humble peasant robes sits upon the stone steps leading up to the windmill, and he watches 7 children playing on the green grass before him. A curious mixture of races, these children. 2 human boys, a dark-skinned elf lad, a fur-covered tabaxi girl, a green-hued turtle, a goat-legged girl with hair like fire, and a 7th child that flickers and blurs, indistinct. For a moment you think you see a halfling, and then something resembling a goblin, and then something else, something strange, almost iridescent, and it shifts constantly, changing from one thing to another. Another man emerges from the windmill, equally ancient, dressed in a similar manner to the first. His eyes glow with a faint blue sheen. 7 small yellow birds flutter around him. Canaries, you realise. And he speaks with the other man. They shake hands. The man with the canaries walks away. He stops. He seems to see you, Uther, and he nods approvingly at you. Woo. You feel a rush of air. You open your eyes. The ground rushes past beneath you. You are high above the city, and you have seen this view before, but the last time you were plunging down towards the earth. Now you soar, Woo. You are flying, Woo. You see the lake, the castle, the lady's manor where Elia dwells, the river. You can feel its heat even up here. You can feel something grasping at your robes, holding you aloft. You are not flying, you are being carried. And you change direction, hurtling at breakneck speed towards a tower that stands not far outside the walls of Castle Never. And down towards it you rush. And then you feel whatever grasps your robes releases its grip, and you fall the last few feet, hitting the wide, flat plateau on the top of the tower. But you know how to fall. Master Shagul taught you. And you roll into it, slowing your momentum, and you stop yourself inches from the edge of the tower, and you stand, dusting off your robes. A voice from behind you. You want me to show you how to unleash your inner dragon? She slurs. She's dressed in robes, remarkably similar to the ones you wear, like Master Shagul wore, except hers are stained red. You think it might be wine rather than blood, judging by the smell of her. She holds in her hand a long, thin-bladed sword, in a reverse grip. The tip of its blade trails on the floor. She drains a goblet held in the other hand, tosses it over the edge of the tower. Oh, fucking hell. Excuse me. What makes you think you have a little dragon inside you? Says Elia.
Answer this.
Mm-hmm.
Us.
Say again, you broke up a bit there.
Because I am us.
She nods. Her face turns sad for a moment. I'm sorry to hear about your master. He was my friend too. She shudders. You see her eyes are wet. I just keep losing him, don't I? She shakes her head.
The dream person on the shoulder and comfort them.
She pushes you back, regains her composure. Right then, let's fucking do this. Show me what you got. And she drops into a fighting stance that you are not familiar with. What are you doing, Wu?
Is this my dream?
What are you doing, Wu?
I'm going to adopt in style what she won't recognise. Styles together and then go for it.
Okay. As you adopt this rare style, you know is quite an unusual one. She shifts her stance at the last second, and you realise, yeah, shit, she does know. She does know exactly what you're doing right now. Would you like to attack Elia?
Yeah, Dream Elia.
Go for it.
Hey. In my dream, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. Nearly forgot after this. Press dexterity, yeah?
No, it's unarmed attack.
Oh,
in your
sorry.
attack spot.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Okay, unarmed attack.
You dart forward, moving with a startling pace that you have for someone so small, and your fist comes up, smashing into Elia's nose. Her head rocks back. Fuck! She says. There's blood on her upper lip. She licks at it, wipes it away with the sleeve of her robe. I wasn't ready, that doesn't count, she says, and the sword comes up. Would you like to attack again?
Yeah, I suppose,
Okay.
Actually, second, can I know.
It's very important, actually. It's very important. First of all, she does this to you. As she says, I wasn't ready. She comes up, the sword's like by the side of her head, but held backwards, and her other hand comes up towards you, and she gives it... Hang on. She gives it...
Oh, so
She's got
Morpheus do that.
full Morpheus on you.
Alright, so I will go again.
Okay.
And I'll do another monk unarmed attack.
Okay, you rush in again, and she moves so fast, it's unreal. And she even gives your ass a little pat with the flat of the blade as she moves out of the way. The hoblin named Wu and the tiefling Elia face each other, their eyes locked in a fierce gaze. Wu's body is small and wiry, and Elia is tall and muscular. They crouch low and pounce at one another without warning. Wu darts forward, his small frame moving with incredible speed. Elia counters his charge with a swift kick, but Wu evades it with ease, dodging to the side and coming back with a flurry of punches, but Elia blocks and weaves through Wu's attacks. Her horns glint in the moonlight as she spins and kicks, her movements a strange mixture of clumsy and graceful. Wu responds with a series of acrobatic flips, dodging and feinting in an attempt to throw Elia off balance. And their movements become a blur up here on this tower, looking down over Neverwinter, the sound of their fists and feet hitting each other in the echo of the night air. Wu's agility is impressive, but Elia's brute strength is difficult for him to match, and they exchange blows again and again, neither of them giving an inch. Wu ducks under a punch and spins around, landing a sharp kick on Elia's chest, foot center mass, and she catches it. Good, she says, but you can do better. And then she punches Wu, square in the chest, and you realise, Wu, in that moment, that every blow, every punch and kick she threw at you, she was holding back. But this time, she does not. And you fly backwards, and time slows. Your limbs come up before you as they take a moment to catch up with your body's momentum, and you realise you can see through them. They are spectral. Are you dead? Has Elia killed you? Has she punched your spirit out of your body?
I think she has. I really think she has.
You see yourself, your body reeling back from this blow in front of you. You are no longer attached to your physical form. And then darkness and silence. And then a man stands before you in a forest of impossibly tall trees. His robes are, unsurprisingly perhaps, similar to yours and Elia's, but much more elaborate. He leans on a staff. He has a gently curving long blade sheathed on his back. It's quite small, though. He's young. He's handsome. His eyes glow. 7 canaries flutter around him, alighting on the staff. His feet are bare, and they are clawed. Shimmering scales cover his flesh, silver in colour. A second figure emerges from behind a tree. It's Master Shigul. He smiles at you. The younger man nods to Shigul, and then turns his attention back to you. Awaken, he says. And you do. It's now early morning. Cockerels, crows, and various fucking bullshit animals begin to wake you all in your various rooms. Woo, you awaken, think, what a strange dream that was. And you realise you are covered in bruises and scrapes, and you have a black eye.
What the? Someone kicked me in my sleep.
Just gonna have a wait, and we'll carry on.
My failure. Even hold myself together in my sleep. What will my father think of me now? Did I should have learnt the piano? No, I went off and did Kung Fu. I wouldn't have got kicked in the face playing the piano, would I? No. How are you, Leanne? Look comfy, cozy. In fact, remember the bear? So what used to get his willy out in that thing all the time? You look a bit like him at the moment, all wrapped up.
What bear?
The bear, that program what used to like talk to people when his willy would pop out. With glasses in the hood.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
You look a bit like that bear today.
I totally forgot about that.
The willy bear. I'll show you the Wiley bear.
Yeah. Oh, that was so funny, oh my god.
That was really good.
I'm feeling the roughness of life, so I'm just hiding.
Hiding away.
Yeah, squirreling away, yeah. It's cozy.
Alan, are you still there, Alan? Oh, he's just reconnecting.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. It's the morning of the 5th of
being disturbed by talk of this willy bear, and I'm trying to like, it's not me, you know, it's going over my head. Like, where's this bear?
You remember the bear what used to interview people and get hard on them and go, oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
We have a willy bear today, where she's dressed.
Oh dear.
Okay, so it's the morning. You awaken. Those of you in the inn, breakfast is served to you. Voldra, up in Lady Roth's antiques parlour, she's prepared quite a simple breakfast of porridge and fruit, and she's got a bowl ready for you. And she's eaten hers by the time you get up. And she says, "Right, well, I have business at the Cloak Tower. I'll meet you and your friends later this morning on Fiddler's Path, okay?
Fiddler's Path, eh?
You should never forget your first time on Fiddler's Path.
You're taking the Fiddler's Path.
I can't believe I'm engaging in this conversation, but what's amusing about Fiddler's Path, Voldran?
Can't think.
Well, I'm going. I'll catch you later. And she begins to head out of the antique store. What are you up to, Voldran?
I'm going to eat my porridge, and then I'm going to head back to the inn.
Okay. The rest of you, assuming you all get up, for ease of the game, let's say that you all sort of finish your breakfast at the moment Voldran turns up. But before he does, is there anything you'd like to do or say as you're having your breakfast, the rest of you?
I need to do my
I was going to ask anybody if my eye looks strange.
It does. You notice Wu has a black eye. There's a scrape on his jaw as well that he didn't have last night when he went to bed.
I'm going to ask if anybody punched me in bed while I was sleeping.
I'll go boxing.
Have you walked into a very small doorknob?
Well, I would say doorknobs are about head height anyway.
Of course. That makes sense.
Yeah. Why do you find doorknobs usually eye level?
Do we need to try?
Only if they're very big doors.
Okay.
I feel like I've had a brilliant night's sleep. A good omen in my dream. How about you, Wu? You have a good night's sleep?
I think it was exciting. I dreamt of the Lear, and we were fighting all night. The dragon, you know. Dragon. It was like a holy revelation. In fact, I might even go start coming to church with you. I keep dreaming of dragons.
The omens. The omens are good.
Yeah. I thought, well, what can I do in this new place? I might get a religion. Dragon religion sounds good to me.
Well, you could do worse than the silver dragon.
Does it have to be the silver one?
Well, no, of course not. It's not mandatory to worship Bahamut. You know, there are many gods to choose between.
That sounds good. So maybe worship Elia.
Well, Elia's not a god. She's merely the avatar of one.
Harris at this point brings a plate laden with bacon, puts it between you all, and says, "She's the chosen of No, she doesn't. She doesn't speak like that. She says, "She's the chosen of Bahamut." That one.
Any fried mushrooms?
Fried mushrooms? Yeah, I can get you some fried mushrooms.
Thank you.
She gives you a little wink.
I want to tell people about what I witnessed. Those strange people.
Okay.
I saw these people when I was up in the sky, and they reached into my head.
Mechanical elves.
Oh, mechanical elves, yeah. Have you seen them?
I've seen them.
Seen them. I don't
Yellow.
There's no reason for me to say that, Moxie. I don't know where.
They
said they were working to rid the world of these strange things we've been witnessing, and they said I had parasites.
Like a weird sea fish.
They touched me strangely.
Where did they touch you?
Inside my brain.
Oh yes.
Man and a woman, yellow.
Never had that before.
Holy well, mind flaying.
I didn't know it was a thing. Woo.
Someone can imagine it.
Anyway, it was very, very, very strange.
Moxie has a new kink. Having a brain tickle.
Get a brain tickle.
I'm gonna ask Moxie to say, I think I've met these people.
Did pull a weird fish out your head?
Yeah, that's what happened, Woo.
Like a
The
hat.
yellow, a man and woman.
Yeah.
I escaped and nearly fell to my fucking death.
Oh, Woo. It wasn't that bad, Woo. They were quite splendid beings.
I shit myself. They're all bigger than me.
So you have all had these creatures pulled from your brains now, but Woo and Moxie are the only two to have it pulled from the GIF, as you know them to be called, Moxie. Lady Jasmine pulled these things out of the heads of the rest of you in the meeting in Castle Never.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I
But you
wasn't there,
weren't
was
for
I?
that, Leanne. And neither was Moxie, so you wouldn't know that, yeah.
Oh. Good. Anyway, they tickled my brain.
I thought it felt a bit weird.
Ill fortune that we all had these brain parasites in our head. I
Mm.
wonder how they got there. Who put them there?
I've got no idea.
You do all know that you have a couple of days missing as well. You are aware of that.
Triffids. People on the thing. I'm
Very
purposely getting it
strange.
wrong, Dave.
What is this ominous music?
Oh, you're talking about weird creatures putting parasites in your brain, so some ominous music on.
I need to hear ominous music. Where's my ominous
I
music?
think I'm hallucinating, you guys.
So I'm just gonna sit here until you guys, basically.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm ready for my breakfast.
Because the breakfast is served. It's good as always. As you're about halfway through your breakfast, the door opens, and Voldrun, you enter.
Like some bacon, Voldrun.
Indeed, I did. Right. I'm gonna sit down and just help myself some bacon.
Okay. There's a lot of breakfast being served. It's a traditional Neverwinter breakfast, which is basically a traditional English breakfast, and it's currently being paid for by Lady Rothe as well. You paid for the first few days' stay and food and drinks here, but she's been paying for the last couple of days.
Thank you, Lady Rothe.
Very good.
Yes, thank you. And now to continue eating bacon.
Good.
His hood's over his face,
fried
most
mushrooms
over
and
his
fried
face,
bread.
you can see the bottom of his face, you can see his face, chewing it. Too light out there. Don't like it.
It is light out there.
I'm going to speak to the, walk up to the lady at the bar, and say, you know, I could get some tinted spectacles. It's a bit too bright for me.
I'm sure it is, sir. You're kind of used to living on the ground, from what I understand, yeah?
That or under the canopy of a forest is preferable.
Of course, a forest. I understand. There's not too many places that sell such things, that cater to such things as that, but I mean, your best bet, I suppose, would be Swiftheart Sundries. She sells a little bit of everything.
What about a parasol? Would that work, Voldrun?
No, that won't do at all.
No?
No, I require something more supple than a parasol.
I see.
But thank you for your helpful suggestion. And he's going to continue chewing bacon.
About hot.
And it is, by the way, Voldrun, very bright. He already has a hood as a part of his outfit, which allows him to move around in daytime without, suffering really physical issues. But the sunlight does fuck with his aim.
It's needlessly bright. I would find my sentence needlessly bright.
Hey,
Is there any way that anybody can turn that down, or no? Anybody got the power to do that? No, that's helpful.
I've got to get up and see if we can close the curtain for you.
Thank you. I mean, perhaps
Yes, you can close. You can close the curtains in the inn. Easy enough.
Go, Vaulton. I've closed these curtains. You can enjoy your breakfast in darkness.
Well, that is most kind.
I can see what I'm doing in the dark anyway.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I'll join you. I'm just going to get up and start closing curtains. Just so that the corner that we were sat in, or wherever we're sat, is slightly darkened. Then I'm going to produce a couple of candles and light the candles.
As you're going round lighting, closing the curtains, Harris, the half-elf barmaid, looks like she's going to say something at some point, but then there's this elderly human woman who looks like she's getting on for 70, dark skin, grey hair. You've met her before. She's the one that mistake you for someone else when you first came here, and she puts her hand on Harris's shoulder and just shakes her head, stops her from saying anything about you closing the curtains.
Yeah, I'm not closing them all, just the ones where, just to make it a bit darker where we're sat, and then I will produce a couple of candles just to compensate for that, because I can deal with that. I believe I have some in my my adventurer's pack, I think.
Okay.
Hope. If not, we'll start eating in the dark.
I mean, there's going to be candles in the inn anyway. So,
yeah.
They just won't be lit at the moment, but you can easily light them.
Yeah, we'll do that. So what's new? Have you sleep well?
I've woken up bruised.
Did you?
Yeah, black eye. Look at this. Well, it's a dark green eye. It's got black eye, yeah.
Tossing and turning all night, really.
Been tossing and turning too much, eh?
A bit too much, I would say.
Tossing and turning, thinking about you.
About me? Wow.
That's a song I know.
I'm flattered.
I'm not actually sure what your face looks like. So dark under that hood. You're dashingly handsome.
Well, I need to put his hood back down. Yeah, I don't like to shout about it though. But yeah, you're right. I am. And then he's going to carry me in bacon.
I look like that. Women love it.
Just got to somehow play the arrogance of elves somehow. You just got to.
Yeah, honestly, you got to. It suits you down to the ground.
Yeah.
Was Hayden just really gay again? Gay. That's 3 times in one game, man.
Okay.
You know what they say? Once is an accident, twice is curiosity.
He's a crime.
Alan, I've sent you a message in Roll20, by the way.
Hayden's a massive pender, is it?
Yeah, I did know that. I didn't know that.
You can do whatever you want.
But I did know that out character.
I clocked the look of recognition on your face as I said it, and I thought you maybe knew. I've just sent you that to make sure.
No worries.
Yeah, you do know.
I was going to say, was that guy talking to another guy then, who's the one, like the grandfather chap in?
Yes.
Right, so he was, so they're not the same person.
No.
I'm going to say to the others, I had a dream of a good omen. It's a very strange one. There was a windmill and these 7 children, and I'm sure these children were us in some way, because there was the races. Oh, behave, Valdrin.
Go to Fiddler's Path now.
Typical priest.
I'm not a priest. I'm not a priest, Valdrin. I'm a paladin. They're completely different. But if you won't listen, Valdrin, just carry on.
Continue.
How dare you insult me, sir?
And then I'm going to say just say whispering to his ear.
Anyway,
and just do some more bacon.
I'm a little bit nervous now
Stream of
because
Omen.
I'm list.
Fine. And I'm just going to say I didn't want to tell you about this plot point anyway.
Hey, tell me. Honestly,
I want to know.
No,
I had a few weird things in my dream.
Oh yes, I
thought
Nothing as weird as that though. Okay.
I saw a man with canaries, with lizard feet, and I saw Master Shigul as well.
Man with the canaries. That is the great god Bahamut, the platinum dragon, the one who I also dreamt of.
That is Bahamut.
Yes, it's one of his aspects. He takes when he walks upon the world. He's been sometimes known to walk as a fabulous wizard with canaries following him
This guy was
around.
dressed as a monk.
All right, okay. He takes many different.
The canary monk.
He has an extensive wardrobe from the sound of it.
In the monastery, they used to say Bahamut world and started like a dragon martial art. We never studied it in the monastery.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. Master Shigul used to go on about it. Not sure if I got all my facts right.
That's very interesting. But yes, that's a good omen that we both dreamt of Bahamut. It means that our
So why have I got a black eye?
well, maybe someone punched you right in the face.
That's not a good omen.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Do you remember anything more about your dream?
You say seeing Bahamut in your dream is a good thing. So,
Yeah, of course.
Canary Man, Canary Dealer is Bahamut.
Canary God. Yes, that's the one.
Canary Dealer.
Sorry, hairy dealer.
Canary Dealer.
Canary dealer. What like?
Canary.
What
I
like
don't know. I'm going to ask you to tell me a
merchant?
bird next time.
I don't think he sells the canaries. I think they just follow him around. I think-
Oh, okay. This is very, very useful, valuable information I will think on.
This is of high value, isn't it? High
Yeah.
value.
That's
Yes.
it.
Well, I'm glad we had this
That'll be-
discussion anyway. It's been.
So am I.
We should talk about our dreams more often.
I had an interesting dream about.
Did you dream of a spider?
Oh, funny you should say that actually.
Right, that's it officially. From now on, Uther has prescience when it comes to dream talk.
Well, yeah. I don't think
Canary
so.
dealing spider.
I've been customary. I also dreamt of, some of my kin, or maybe not my kin, but some of my people preparing to come topside. I don't know if it means anything. We often do, but yeah, it looked like a raiding party or something.
So, just to clarify, Johnny, something that you might not be familiar with. The drow do come topside and they do raid, usually at night, obviously. But what you saw wasn't just a drow raiding party, it was a Dryder raiding party. So the Dryder are drow that have in some way displeased Lolth. So Lolth is a bit of a unique god in the D&D pantheon because she's not some omnipotent, all-seeing being out in a different plane of existence. Lolth lives in the heart of the Underdark. She is a physical entity that lives among the drow, and everything the drow do is in service to her ways. And if a drow warrior or wizard in some way displeases Lolth, they are turned into a Dryder. And what a Dryder is basically a drow head, arms and torso with the lower half as a giant spider.
Like a centaur type thing, like
It's like a dark elf spider centaur is the best way. Yeah, and they're shunned. They're often cast out of society. In some rare occasions, they are allowed to stay in society, but they always have very low social standing, and they're used as shock troops. They basically get persuaded that they can redeem themselves in the eyes of Lolth. and stuff like that, and they might be turned back if they're good. Well, not good, if they please love. But most Drider are shunned and they leave Drow society. And they end up living somewhere else in the Underdark.
During the Drider war party, might have just been a Vanguard or something like that. I'm not a tactical expert. But if I had to place some money on it, which I won't, if anybody else wants to, I'm betting that I can finish this story without mentioning Drider again. And will anyone take that?
It seems.
Will anyone take that bet?
It seems like.
Uther, are you a betting man?
I am. Well, I do like a flutter, but I normally.
Well, let's see coins then.
I normally gamble on.
Anyone else want to bet I can't mention those things again?
No, sir. No, you will not force me. You will not put words into my mouth and say that I shall bet when I shall not. I will choose the terms of a wager, sir. Not on your terms. This seems like a gamble that you could never lose.
That's not how a drow wager works. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I dreamt about. Weird spider centaurs.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked by weird spider centaurs.
Let's hope so, eh? Let's hope so.
Yes.
They're scum. We'd be doing them a favour putting them out.
Here. And I'm going to raise some bacon in salute to that.
I'll raise a mushroom.
I'll fold one into a bit of bacon into my mouth like a bit of wriggling chewing gum. It's under my hood. And then
you know how to eat meat, Valdrin.
Well, I have had some practice.
Ding, ding, ding! Round 2 of Who's Gay?
Very bad. So, did anyone else have any interesting dreams they want to share with the group? How about you, Darwin, or Carl?
I want to know about these children.
Yeah, welcome to the dream.
The moment's passed. I mean, I'm sure it is highly relevant for some reason, but I won't be sit here and.
Anyone else eat cheese last night? I
dreamt of home and dear old dad.
I can't remember what your separate dream was. I can't remember.
It's the typical dreams of doom for me. Could be the beer.
Dreams of doom.
Doom. Oh. Doom. I'll swap you next time. Mine was dull. Doom sound much better.
What's that, Moxie? You dreamt of a giant tree and druids and dryads and stuff.
No, that was someone else.
That was someone else. That was
your adopted father.
That was Darwin. I see. Okay, your adopted father.
Yes.
A giant fucking
raider.
I was born as an ex. Don't technically ever meet my parents, so I was raised by a treant.
He was raised by a treant. It's very interesting.
How quaint.
Moxie, you know some treants, by the way. You know some treants. And your dream was you dreamt of the mushroom folk singing and dancing and drinking mushroom wine back in their village in the Azure Forest. And it seemed like, whatever had happened to them, they had forgotten about it. And that's quite typical of them. They're a very simple people. They don't have long memories. They easily get over trauma.
Yeah. Okay. No need to share it.
Okay. Just reminding you, just in case you wanted to.
Yeah. I didn't think it was anything. Yeah. Oh.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, it's definitely not something. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be relevant later, definitely.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad we've all shared our relevant dreams, and I'm glad that most of us had some relevant dreams. It was very, very good talk we've had over bacon this morning.
Should
we do this more often?
Why, yes.
Woo, yes. Yes,
we're not about
you mentioned the children. What did my child look like?
Well, your child, it didn't seem to know what like everyone else's was clearly defined. Woo. It's funny you should ask that. I was just about to talk about this, and then Voldrin called me a nonce, so I got distracted.
No,
You never told your dream.
Yes, I was telling you. So you see, there was this windmill, and there was this fellow, and he had these 7 children. I think the children was each of us because there was a tabaxi, and there was whatever moxie is. We had one of these hooven things, and there was a drow, and 2 humans, and a turtle.
A child dealer. Sounds like a child dealer.
A child. I mean, some kind. Okay, well, I mean, it could be that, or it could be something else.
I've heard priests talk about it before.
I'm not a priest, Voldrin. I've told you that many times.
You dream of children. I'll need some more bacon.
I have sinned in many ways, but not in that particular way, Voldrin. I have committed many evils, but not in that way, Voldrin. Anyway, I was trying to tell Wu about this particular thing that he wanted to know about. Very specific, and I was just getting to that, but then Voldrin keeps jabbing at me with his words of acid.
He's evil.
And,
no, I actually believe he's good. I actually believe he's good, I don't know why.
The edge of Voldrin's, underneath Voldrin, so you can see him smile slightly, and then he's just drinking some wine.
You keep putting that meat into your mouth. And chew on it, Voldrin. Anyway, we were.
Is that what you say to them?
Anyway, woo. So, your spirit child seemed to flick between goblin and halfling, and then something mystical, something iridescent. It was like you were 3 beings in one. It was like you were some kind of made-up creature.
Rude.
I mean, it was only a dream, Voldrin. I mean, I'm not Voldrin.
I'm here. I'm flesh and blood.
It was just a dream.
I've gone.
Oh no! Woo!
Just gone to the toilet. Gone straight through him.
The mushrooms have gone straight through Wu.
Very little. Back. Oh, sorry about that.
But yes, anyway, as I was saying, about these children, that there was an old man looking after him. What do I say about that old man, or is like just nothing in particular, just Dave? Or...
What's the old?
The old man, when you try and think about this old man in this dream, you don't know him. You're certain you don't know him, but he seems strangely familiar to you somehow.
God. But anyway, he was talking to Bahamut, who's definitely not a non-Scard, Voldrin, before you start on that train. So these 2 old men and these 7 children, they were having a discussion, but the fact that I dreamt about Bahamut is surely a good omen. But I can't help but feel that these children were us somehow.
It's strange.
It's strange. Anyway, it's just a dream. I mean,
on this.
Yes. Maybe it was not. Maybe it meant nothing at all.
Say a few prayers. See where it gets you.
Yeah.
I'll say one too.
Yeah. Say a little prayer to Bahamut. I'm sure.
I gotta just find out who I'm gonna pray to.
He's gonna pray to a random god.
It's gonna be one in D&D though.
Okay, well, I'm about ready to face the road. I don't know about you guys.
Go.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
I'm going to take some of this bacon to go.
All right.
He's got his displeased face.
I think I'm gonna pray.
No.
I think I'm gonna pray to Sarador.
Let's hit the road.
Well, what,
know
let's get a
where we're
fiddler's
going.
path.
So,
All the signs are pointing in the wrong direction.
I don't know what you mean. You've got a one-track mind, Voldrin.
Just being vigilant.
I can tell that you grew up in the darkness, out of the sight of light.
It was safer. No, it was safer. We can hide from the police there.
Well, I mean, to be truthful, there have been quite a lot of corrupt, dodgy priests there in the world. I won't defend them all because quite some of them are dreadful people.
Absolutely. Although I do like to think that in Faerun, although I've painted the world so far in a quite light, frivolous tone, but there's definitely some grim darkness in there. You just haven't found it yet. But I do like to think that, for the most part, what you see is what you get when it comes to religion in D&D. Good gods are good, bad gods are bad. Generally, so are their followers, because the gods are very real in this game. So you can't hide behind faith as much as you could in, say, Catholicism. Anyway, good evening, Alison.
Good evening.
Okay, so I'll give you a quick recap of what you've missed. You've missed Moxie being abducted by the mechanical elves, escaping after Fergus freed her with some stabbage. Everyone went to sleep, had a little dream. Your dream went like this. I read it out for everyone else, but you weren't here. So your dream is one single image. The face of your queen. Her skin the colour of honey, her hair the colour of autumn. Her eyes glow like molten gold. She is beautiful, and she watches you. She doesn't speak, but you hear her. She needs something from you. Do not forget your mission, she says, to watch over and protect. But this journey you are about to undertake is fortuitous. In Candlekeep, there is a dagger. You will know it when you see it. Bring it to me. After the dreams, everyone sat and had breakfast. Voldron came over from Rothe Antiques, finished off some bacon, called everyone a pedo. Everyone has just spent the last 10 minutes sitting around discussing their various dreams. Wu has woken up with a black eye and some bruises, and he's been talking about seeing this old man with some canaries. Sorry, this young monk with some canaries.
Canary dealer.
Yeah, the canary dealer. Uther has said, he's also dreamt about this man, but he was an old man and he had some canaries. He's also dreamt about another old man with some children, and he thinks the children are you guys. And Moxie has shared the fact that she was kidnapped by some yellow-skinned people and had a thing pulled out of her head, which also happened to Wu the day before, and also the rest of you had that happen to you last night at the castle, at the centre of town. So that's everyone up to speed. If you want to head out, I'm just going to have a quick wee. You do have an hour or so before you to meet Lady Rothe on Fiddler's Path. So if there's anything you'd like to do, now's the time. Discuss it amongst yourselves while I have a wee.
Yeah.
Oh, we were going to get you some glasses, weren't we, Voldron?
Yeah, yes indeed.
Keep the sunlight out of your eyes.
Yeah, so maybe it's...
What is Chewie
I
doing?
don't do very well with life. I will admit.
Oh.
And as he steps outside, where he put it that a little bit more.
Hey, I typed in Willy Bear and I got nothing.
That was a dangerous Google, that one was.
No, what it is, it's bedtime.
I know. I can't remember what it was called.
It's Avid Merriam, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Avid Merriam.
What a blast from the past.
I've got him. Avid Merriam Bear.
Uh-huh.
I'll find him on images and I'll put one up for us all. Move his willy out. Crossbow selector, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good excuse for everyone in Britain to laugh at a small stuffed bear getting an erection. But really, what it was about young men having the excuse to admit that they liked certain women.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, what happened was often when certain women would go on the show for an interview, the little bear would get an erection, but it was always women that weren't considered the sort of women you should fancy, but secretly, all young men did. That's what it was all about. It was a way of going, oh, no, fancy women, but vicariously, you were the bear. Anyway, anything you'd like to do, guys, before heading on to Fiddler's Path? Is someone messaging me, or am I fucking hallucinating?
Sorry? Take a photo of you now and put them up next to these bears.
Alison, did you? What did you say? Sorry, Alison.
I need to find somewhere to do to perform the ritual to get my familiar.
Of course you can. You can do that during breakfast. So I think I've mentioned this before, at least to Leanne. I don't mention it to you. The ingredients. Say you need a brazier or a brazier, as one of my players once thought, but you don't. I allow any fire source, and you bought all the other ingredients, didn't you, last session? So yeah, during breakfast, as everyone's eating and getting ready, you can perform this ceremony. You can throw these herbs and spices and incense into this fire and go through the incantations and the gestures, and you can summon forth your familiar. What form does your familiar take?
Beside a rat.
Yeah, but it's like this. Right, let me go get that.
Bear with, I'm sorry.
Oh,
more importantly than what is it, what's its name?
What was we going to call it?
Raticus.
Raticus.
It's a perfectly
great name. Raticus.
Oh, it's just Pat. Pat the rat.
That was it. Pat the rat in the head. Living on.
What was it? Sorry.
Pat the rat, and he's going to live on the back of a cat.
Pat the rat. Beautiful.
Where's the? Show it.
Okay, so as you summon it, as you summon Pat the rat, he appears. He is perfectly obedient to you. He acts on your initiative, I believe, or does he roll his own? I can't remember. He doesn't get to fight, but he can do other stuff. He can perform help and assistance. You can also see through his eyes and everything else. But more importantly, as he arrives into this world for the first time, you see through his eyes, and you see immediately he looks across the room and something gets his back up. Something annoys Pat the rat.
Do I see there's a rat then? What do the rest of us say at this moment?
I mean, most of you are too busy talking about paedophiles to even notice that this is happening. But Pat the rat, his focus is on one particular person around the table at breakfast. And that person is about 7 inches high and wields a butter knife. Pat the rat seems to have some sort of grudge against Fergus, the mushroom man.
Fergus versus the
So I think you maybe missed that, Liam.
No, today, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, we'll worry about that another day, you know, it's not necessarily... But yeah, at some point during breakfast or on your way to wherever you're going to go next, you do notice that Tabitha now has a rat that rides around on her back and on her shoulders, nestled into the fur.
You.
Tabitha, do you see that? Do you want me to take care of it? Kill that vermin on your shoulder? I'm gonna heft my silvered maul. I'll try not to hit you. Spread disease.
It's my mate, Pat.
Your mate? I didn't think, cats and Never mind. No, it's fine. It's I mean, I know you're not a cat. I know you're a tabaxi. I know it's not the same thing. I'm just
bit racist.
I know it's terrible. I'm an old man and I'm set in my ways, and I mean, yes. No, just forget I said it.
A chicken, and a a cockerel.
Forget I said anything. I mean, if you want to walk around with a rat on your shoulder, I mean, who am I to judge what the young do these days? I mean, we wouldn't do it in my day. We wouldn't have rats on shoulders in my day. It wasn't done. It wasn't proper. Yes.
These are new days.
These are new days. I don't understand it all, and sometimes I feel like I've been left behind. And now having a rat on your shoulder is perfectly normal. It's cool, even.
It's the new craze.
Cool about disease.
Moxie.
I'll get you one. You two can be cool again.
Yeah, would you do that for me, Vol'jin? Would you get me my own shoulder?
Gladly. I gladly do that. Yeah. To the pet.
What's up? So I'm too busy laughing at these toad pictures I'm finding.
Moxie, as this conversation is happening, your attention is drawn to Tabitha's back, and you also see this. Oh Jesus! You also see this. This rat on Tabitha's back, and you just think, it's a rat, and you instantly know what it is. You can tell what this rat is and what it does. But then you hear these thoughts from Fergus as Fergus notices Pat the rat for the first time, and you hear Fergus going, "Oh, that wee shite! Me and him have got some history. I'll be sorting it out with him later."
You go for it, Fergus.
I fucking will, Moxie lass, I'll have it. When he least expects it, I'll be there. And Fergus he starts jabbing and stabbing with his little butter knife. The rest of you don't see this. What you see is Fergus riding on Moxie's shoulder like this. Okay, anything you want to do today, or are you heading to Fiddler's Path?
No, we're gonna get some. We're gonna try and get some glasses for Vol'jin. So we don't want him squinting or an inch along, do we?
We can get you some bait from the sweet shop if you want to.
Whatever you alluding to, Vol'jin?
Well, we are going to Fiddler's Path. I thought you should be prepared. And he's going to carry on just walking.
You won't get a rise out of me, elf.
No, I'm too old.
You don't get a rise out of him if you were under 10.
Oh dear.
Not just starts whistling after he says that.
Okay, so you're heading to Swiftheart, are you? There's any dark glasses?
When they do that, can I nip to a armourer, a sword shop, buy a katana or a longsword?
I'm going to say to myself, I'm sure we had a whole fucking episode on shopping.
We did. It's a shame all this shit wasn't covered.
Swiftheart. I'm just going to mutter it under my breath.
Swiftheart is there.
I thought I should get some specs.
Go off and buy one.
I'm going to mutter under my beard.
You don't have to really deal with me. All I need to do is buy one.
No. So what I'm going to tell you, Wu, is you do see some swords, some long swords of various styles, some with quite thin, narrow blades, but none of them are quite what you would consider a katana. None of them are what you're looking for. But you do think there's a couple that might do for now.
Alright, how much are they?
15 gold.
Just take that off my inventory, then off my 200 odd. Minus 15. Yeah, and I'll add that into my inventory. Thank you.
You know how to add it to your inventory, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I will work it out while you're...
You can just drag it over from the compendium.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, so if you go in the compendium, search for longsword, when it comes up, drag it over, it puts the whole stat thing in there for you. But it's the sword you get, it's the lightest they do, but it's not quite what you had in mind. You feel like it's not going to be, the best weapon for your size, strength, style of fighting, but it's better than the one you don't have.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify the rules on that for you, Hayden, it's a longsword that will use strength, whereas what you need is a longsword that uses dex.
I'm not bothered buying that then. Good for me.
Okay. You don't see anything here that really suits your needs. They're all, they're human-sized weapons, stuff for elves and dwarves, and they're not nimble, fast blades. They're blades that are designed to brutally stab people.
Oh, I'll bet about
maybe at some point in the future you might find one.
Who knows? I'll carry on.
Who knows? So you leave the weapon shop disheartened. Meanwhile, as Woo's sadly walking away from the weapon shop, the rest of you get to Swift-Heart Sundries. You push inside the door, and Voldron, there is this tabaxi, like Tabitha, but more ginger and white in colour. Not quite as tall or fit-looking as Tabitha as well. She's looks like the sort of cat woman that spent most of her life indoors eating bags of Dreamies. And she's sort of leaning on the... she looks like my cat, basically, but ginger. And she's leaning on the counter and she says, "Oh, welcome. Oh!" She's a little startled. She says,
"Sorry, I don't see many of your kind in my shop. Is there some way I can help you?"
That's the idea. And then I'm just going to, now that I'm back in the shop, I'm just going to sort of lift my hood up a little bit so you can see me. Just do a glint in my eyes and think, I need something to help me with the daylight. Some sort of glasses with like a tint, perhaps.
I know exactly what it is you need. I have sold items like this to your kind before, but I'm afraid I don't have any at the moment.
Why not?
That I have sold out. There was a number of your people last week, a dozen or more. They came, they bought all of my stock.
Huh. Do you know anywhere else that sells this item?
Not in this city. I mean, in Baldur's Gate, there is a shop that specializes in such things, but not here. If you would like, I have a shipment coming in a few days. There should be a pair or two then. I will put them to one side for you.
Yes, that sounds excellent. How much will they be?
Oh, they are 2 gold pieces each.
That's perfect. Yes, probably a pair of sides. Possibly a couple of pairs. Would you like a deposit?
Yes, 50%.
Okay, so I'll put down 2 gold for 2 pairs.
Okay. She takes it and says, as you hand her the coin as well, she briefly touches your hand. She says,
"And can I say, it is a pleasure to see more of your kind arriving topside."
Well, it's the whole new world out there. We want to explore it. Some of us do.
It is. Many years ago, my life was saved by one of your people. They all, they teach us when we're young that you're kind of bad, wicked people. But when I was a young girl, I was stranded out on the ocean on a boat with no oars, no sails, and a man swam from the shore and rescued me, dragged me back to shore. He saved my life.
Well, we're not all rotten apples.
No, not clearly all. I'm not. There are many of your kind I have met that are good people.
Well, that's nice to hear. It's nice to enter a shop and not get looked at like I'm going to steal something.
No, that is down the road if you want that sort of look. Not here. All are welcome in Swift-Heart.
You have my thanks. And he's going to turn and be a bit like bemused by life. Like he's so used to a bit of prejudice and suspicion. it's quite refreshing to meet somebody that it doesn't feel that way.
Okay.
Yeah. I think maybe it's not such a bad world after all. He thinks to himself. But in the meantime, I shall just have to deal with that. I'm just going to pour your pod down and then walk out the shop. Good day.
Alright. So with that
on
done,
the shop door, that rings as well as I'm going out.
there is a bell that rings as you walk through.
So that's how I imagine it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so as you leave Swiftheart, is there anything to do, or do you want to proceed to Fiddler's Path?
I mean, we should go straight there without delay.
I'm
Great.
not saying everything more. I've told you enough.
Agreed. Let's go fiddling.
Let's get
Okay.
there.
So you all
Go you what they do on Fiddler's Path.
Sure. You never forget your first time, children.
So you all
I
eventually.
remember my first time on Fiddler's Path when I was just a boy.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
You know what? I'm just going to stop you and point out that I didn't fucking name this. All right, this is like an established.
You did.
Dave, you're the master of this realm. You are the game.
No.
You're controlling every aspect of this game.
I've told you.
Don't absolve responsibility.
I've told you this game is lazy mode GMing. I've stolen most of this. I never even considered it was that Fiddler's Path was dodgy until I said it out loud. The moment I said it out loud, I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
I started laughing first.
It was just informed that you a place in the winter Creek.
Go fuck yourself. Anyway, so it's getting on for almost the right time as you finally make your way to Fiddler's Path, which is all the way over here.
No, does anyone smell anything?
And as you get as you get closer,
Sadness.
you realise why it's called this. And lining the street, and I fucking swear, I have to put this on YouTube, so remember that. As you're walking the street, you can hear from every bush, Jesus Christ, every pole, stop it, Dave, every lamp, every wall, every house, the sound of violin music serenely filling the landscape of this place.
I see.
Beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful here.
You also realise that this area here is very well tended. It's a lot more upmarket than the southern half of the city you've been staying in. There are many 2- and 3-story homes here, intermingled with upmarket shops like the Mute Loot, Jason's Fineware, Priscilla's Perfumes and Pottables, and the cluttered window of Danar's Mechanical Marvels. And you also see, further away, the Starshine Academy is here. And those of you that are local know that the Starshine Academy is a school for arts and horticulture. And it's serene here, quiet, picturesque. The high defensive perimeter wall of the city is the only indication that you are in fact within a city and not in some idyllic rural village. And around halfway along Fiddler's Path, the path forks. One branch continuing to run along parallel to the wall, heading towards the Blue Lake Gate, one of the main gates of the city. But the other path, the smaller path, veers off towards this wall northwest of your position, to one of the sturdy-looking squat drum towers that you see spaced evenly around the city's perimeter. And there is a heavy-looking reinforced door set into the tower, which is flanked by about a dozen members of the Neverwinter Guard in their polished silver armour and purple cloaks, like the one that Tabitha stole. And standing to one side, gazing up at the sky, is Lady Luciana Rothe. She holds in one hand a thick leather-bound journal and a quill in the other. She licks her finger, holds it up in the air for a moment, and then makes a note in the journal. Floating beside her is a large chest of iron-reinforced wood, just hovering about 18 inches off the ground. And perched atop this chest is a very striking-looking bird of prey, a hawk. And it watches you with eyes that glow faint blue as you approach. Lady Rothe is dressed in a practical outfit of pale leather breeches and matching boots. Tight leather bodice embroidered with complex symbols over a shirt or blouse that is quite short in the sleeve, and you notice for the first time the intricate swirls of tattoo up and down the length of her arms. She has a cloak on her back, the colour of purple, the colour of the Neverwinter Guard. Her silver blonde hair is tied back in thick braid over one shoulder. On one hip hangs an ornate scabbard with a thin-bladed rapier, and on the other, a leather holster into which she slots the book she was writing in and turns to face you. And her eyes, like the hawk's, are glowing blue, but the glow fades from both her and the hawk's simultaneously. "Good morning," she calls to you. "Are you ready to begin our voyage?"
I'm ready. And so bow a little bit, a little slightly. Let's go.
Okay. She leads you across towards the drum tower. "Good morning, lads," she says to the dozen or so Neverwinter Guard. "They're with me." She gestures to the 7 of you. "Oh, morning, Miss Rothe. Morning, reply the guard. "We're heading over to the Skyhold," she says. "Be a dear and send but that's the point. Are you bringing your cart, your dog, and your horse?"
Certainly am.
Yeah. Okay, so she says, "Be a dear and send the livestock over in the next carriage, would you?" Of course, Lady Rothe," says one of the guards. He blushes slightly. "This way," Lady Rothe says to the rest of you, leading you through a large door and then up several flights of stairs to the 3rd floor. And there is a complex array of pulleys and gears that fill most of the room. And these pulleys and gears surround this wheelless carriage of brass, steel, and wood that hangs from a thick set of ropes that pass out of a gap in the tower wall. "All aboard," she says as she pulls open a barred door in the side of the carriage and clambers in. Is everyone getting in?
I'll get in.
Sure.
"Irri," she says. Voldran, Tabitha, and Darwin, you recognise the word as
Is what?
Oh, you cut out there. Dave.
lies. It's the Elvish word for right. There is a clunk, and the gears and cogs and pulleys clatter into life, and the carriage lurches forward out of the tower and begins to head northwest and up along the ropes. The Ascension carriage was built and designed shortly after the Rage, says Miss Rothe, pointing to the northwest, to the cluster of earth motes you can see hanging in the air a few hundred feet above the ocean. These basically lumps of rock that seem to be levitating over to the northwest. Pirates had been operating from there, unknown to the people of Neverwinter, for some time. During the war, they allied themselves with the Dragon Cult. When the cult began its attack by land and sea, the pirates joined in from the sky, and there were numerous dragons hiding within their lair that joined the fray. Neverwinter could have weathered a siege by land or sea for, well, almost indefinitely, but when the war moved to the air, we were not ready, and many lives were lost. Fortunately, the cult's leadership was destroyed, and their hold over the chromatic dragons died with them. The gate was closed, the worst of the threat was over. The airborne threats, the pirates, were easily dealt with after. And then after the war, we took Skyhold for ourselves. The earth motes, these vast chunks of rock that float in the sky less than a mile from the city, 300 feet above the Sea of Swords, come into view now as the carriage clatters and judders along on its path. And there are buildings there on these earth motes, you realise, hidden from view from the ground, but as you climb higher and higher, you can see the walls, the towers. A fortress, you realise, on what looks like a number of wooden platforms extending out into the air. Renier's father had been commissioning warships for some time, she says, some with unusual abilities, for many years leading up to the war, and many of the lessons learned in the construction of these vessels went into the creation of a new type of ship. We call them... Lady Rothe pauses dramatically, turns to you all with a smirk as the carriage draws level with the earth moat. Airships, she says triumphantly, and her timing is perfect. As the carriage crests the edge of the earth moat, the fortress comes into view, and you see it's more than just a set of towers, walls and keeps. It is a shipyard, high above the ocean. Vast cranes and gantries lie at the heart of Skyhold, where 100-foot-plus keel is being laid by a number of men and women from a dozen different races. And there are robed figures, clearly wielders of the arcane, that cast spells and mutter incantations over the vast piles of lumber and metal fastenings and a series of huge steel blades that lay around the area. It's a slow process, she says. Each individual piece of wood and metal must be permanently enchanted, which can take upwards of a year or more, depending on the size of the vessel and the number of arcane wielders available. Most of the wizards here were trained in the Cloak Tower by Archmage Stonesworn. Once the ship is complete, it can take another year or more to get levitation enchantment to hold, but once it does, it's permanent. Well, mostly. But it's more reliable than the mechanical aspects of such vehicles. As the carriage passes across the centre of this vast construction site, you realise there are a number of completed ships. 5 total, each around the size of a large galley, and they float impossibly above and around Skyhold.
Remarkable.
The Neverwinter Air Navy, says Lucy with a triumphant grin. 5 vessels, each crewed by less than a dozen air sailors. The magical nature of the vessel removes the need for larger crews. They can carry just as much cargo as a sea vessel of equivalent size. They move faster, are less dependent on the weather, have their own propulsion systems, each armed with 6 cannon, 4 ballista, and I believe one of them is armed with something called a telekinetically accelerated projectile armament system, or TAPAS for short. But that's nothing compared to the Basilisk, and she points to the east. And for a few moments you don't see what she's indicating other than a low bank of cloud, but then after a few moments it emerges, and this vessel dwarfs the other ships considerably. The bottom half of the airship resembles a traditional sea-going hull, and the sails, although larger than average, landed enough. The upper half of this enormous vessel is clad in steel and brass, with armoured turrets and towers dotting from its upper surface. It looks more like a castle than a ship. It has these 2 thick chimney stacks that belch black smoke out of the rear, and there are many huge clockwork cranes, yawning mouths of cannon barrels dotted all over the thing, and it's covered entirely in swirling arcane symbols. Looks a little like this. The original hull, says Lady Rothe, was in fact an ocean-going vessel. An experimental craft used by a rather famous group of adventurers in their efforts to track and infiltrate the dragon cult, before we knew what they were up to. The rest of it, that was added later. Basilisk played a key role in the Dragon War. She was all but destroyed in the final battle. But Lord Neverember had her rebuilt, improved. She can still do all her old tricks and more. But Basilisk, she smiles, even wider than before, looking extremely pleased with herself, isn't the best part of this. And she points west, where a small jetty sticks out over the edge of Skyhold, and tethered there by many ropes is a smaller vessel than Basilisk, smaller than the other galleys, sleeker in design, with a strangely elven feel to her. Nemeryl, says Lucy. Swift wind. And she's all mine.
Mm-hmm.
The carriage rattles and clanks its way onto another tower. Miss Rothe drags open the cage door and beckons you to follow her. Down a spiral set of stairs into the main courtyard, past this incredible shipyard. A few of the workers look up for a moment, curious as to your presence, but they soon get back to work. Miss Rothe leads you around the edge of this hive of activity and approaches a stout-looking dwarf with wild, fiery hair spilling out from beneath a cloth cap. How goes the latest project, Master Dame? She calls. Hey, Miss Rothe. She's going to be a beaut. New design, faster, sleeker, sexier. A fine vessel she'll be. Not as fine as you, of course. I mean, yours. Not as fine as yours. The dwarf blushes. Men seem to have a habit of blushing in Miss Roth's company. I should hope not, Dane. We had an agreement, didn't we? Never a faster ship than Swiftwind? Aye, Miss Rothe, aye, that we did. Lucy gestures to the seven of you. My guests and I are going on a little trip. Should be gone for a 10-day. Little more at the most. Oh, anywhere nice, says the dwarf. No, Dane, probably not. Say no more, lass, say no more. Well, she's all ready, her supplies are loaded. Have a safe trip. Thank you, Dane. There's some livestock in a cart to come. Aye, I'll have them loaded, Miss Rothe. Thank you, Dane. Thank you very much. Farewell. Dane nods and smiles, gazes fondly after Miss Rothe as she heads to a side door, leading you outside the fortified walls onto a wide jetty that hangs out in mid-air over nothingness. A wide gangplank leads up from this jetty onto the beautiful, sleek vessel, Swiftwind. Welcome aboard, she says.
Come aboard. Swiftwind. Like eating a cabbage or something like that.
Is
No, that's just bad.
Is there a crow's nest?
There is a crow's nest.
I'm going to, if I may, I'm going to take the top spot.
Before you do,
This is what your other company's driving in to find the dragon cult, the basilisk.
say again, sorry, Hayden, I was yawning.
The D&D groups using basilisk to find the dragon cult, is it?
Yes, Basilisk was their vessel. It was slightly different. It wasn't an airship. It was a sailing ship with some unique tricks. And it's already a bit damaged, and it's probably going to get more damaged. But the idea is that it's resurrected as this airship. And she leads you aboard the ship, and she says, "Now, I'm afraid I only have 2 guest chambers, so you're going to have to share. And we could only fit 3 beds in each, but I have managed to rig up a small hammock, perfect size for you, Woo." And she gestures to these double doors in the middle of the ship. You should be able to see the ship.
Yep.
She gestures to these doors here, and she says, "I'm in there. Your chambers are to the side. 3 to a berth. The hammock's in the one over here." And she says, "Washroom, ablutions, we're all going to have to share those. Galley is downstairs, as is all the food and supplies and your livestock. I can handle the ship myself, but if anyone wishes to learn how to become an air sailor, I'm more than willing to teach them."
Ooh,
I like to sail you in the air.
excellent.
Okay, so at this point, the ship can be flown by Lady Rothe because she's bonded to it and she is a wizard. She doesn't need anyone to help her fly it, but the rest of you can fly it. But you'll have to work as a team. There are 6 positions on the ship. There are 7 of you, 8 including Lady Rothe. Lady Rothe is quite obviously the captain. But there are 5 other positions available. And she offers to teach you any of them. So this is something you have to decide for yourself. So I'll tell you what the roles are. and you tell me what you want training in. If you want training, you don't have to. We'll take it from there. So, the 5 roles are First Mate, Navigator, Pilot, Bosun, and Rigger. So, the First Mate's job is to basically carry out the captain's orders. The First Mate is like a support role, where you can assist what the others are doing. Navigator is obviously about plotting the routes. Pilot is the physical act of driving the boat. Bosun is all the ancillary stuff, cooking, supplies, checking the rigging, various other shit. Rigger is about working the rigging, unfurling the sails, stuff like that. Some of these roles might sound a little bit less interesting than others, but they are all important. So, who wants to train in any of them?
Darwin's a cartographer, so I'll train in navigation.
Okay.
I'll be the rigger, Dave. It sounds like a physical job.
Yes, mate.
It is a very physical job. It's a lot of rope climbing and pulling and tugging.
Oh, there's a lot of rope tugging. Aiden, want to do that?
First choice in mate.
You're going for First Mate, are you?
First choice in mate.
What about the rest of you? Anyone else want to get trained on this ship?
What else was there? Cooking.
So there's the bosun, which basically is all the ancillary stuff, looking after the supplies, the welfare of the crew. It also involves checking the rigging, which is kind of like a making sure other people don't fuck up kind of role.
Well, I'll do that. Yeah. Sounds
Yeah?
alright. Yeah.
More than one of you can train in one position, but so what about Uther and Voldren and Tabitha?
Who would be up in the crow's nest?
I mean, Voldren expressed an interest in doing that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, to be fair,
Be more useful at night than in the day. If I was doing that.
That's the other thing as well, that this ship, with it being airborne, can travel at night. But obviously, it's trickier to fly at night because you can't see. But Voldren fucking can. Voldren can see better than most at night. So Voldren would make a good pilot for the night shift.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to train.
I'll volunteer for night shift being pilot.
I mean, you don't need to train to sit up in the crow's nest and keep lookout. Anyone can do that. But if you want to learn to pilot the boat, Voldren, you would be really good at doing that at night.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Yeah?
So I think I'll also ask to learn to pilot ship as well, Dave.
Who's there? On the piloting. What about Tabitha? I'll let you have a think about that while I have a wait.
I thought there was only 6 minutes there.
Oh, at least we're not walking to Thundertree, 2,000 miles on the way.
Yeah.
I mean, you only have little legs, woo.
To get around on your big back of, with your big strong arms.
I don't know, they're not that strong. I'm just an old man.
A bit of cow, Colonel. Wouldn't even notice I'm there. Get his big bulging biceps.
Yay!
Number 5 is hitting it down.
It's official. You
Flag of the week. Flag of the week.
You speak now.
So just to clarify something as well, that learning one particular role doesn't mean you're forever tied into that role. You can learn multiple roles. But the idea of this is Lady Rothe can pilot the ship without you. But the 7 of you can pilot the ship without Lady Rothe. So you can all learn how to pilot this ship, and you can all learn how to do multiple things if you wish. You might have this ship for a long time. You might be like the last group I gave a ship to and lose it after 3 sessions. Who fucking knows? By the way, guys, this ship can go invisible. All right, we'll sail into the pirate port. Are you putting the invisibility on? No. Okay, so what's Tabitha doing?
She wants to learn to pilot as well.
Okay, so that works out pretty well, because then you'd have 3 pilots, which means 8-hour shifts. You could travel around the clock, especially with Voldrun being one of them, and he can see in the dark.
Tabitha can see in the dark as well because of Peck.
Yeah. You don't need. Yeah, that's a good point. So you don't need a full crew all the time. This ship is designed to need a minimal crew, but in like combat situations, bad weather, you would need a full crew. But the ship can be easily just sailed in good weather with like a couple of.
What about the weaponry on board?
There is no weaponry. You are the weapons.
Right. Okay.
Just throw the other players at the enemy when they're coming in.
The ship's primary weapon is its speed, which you'll see very soon. Okay.
Good.
So,
speed and surprise.
Exactly.
Alright, Chief Main Weapon.
So, Lady Rothe begins to point out the basics to you. This is like a bit like a. Sorry, Leanne, did you say something there?
No, sorry.
Right. So this is a bit like power play in Darker Heresy. This is something that's going to happen over time. The longer you do this shit, occasionally I'll ask you for roles. Eventually, you'll learn this role, and it'll happen behind the scenes. I won't be expecting you to play this out, but for now.
You.
First lessons, then, Lady Rothe says, as she approaches you, Dukal, and she shows you how to cast off. And she shows you once on one of the ropes, and then stands and watches as you untie the rest of the ropes. Some of them you struggle with until you realise they're mostly knots, and you start to get the hang of it. And as you pull the last rope clear, the ship, Swiftwind, begins to drift away from the Earth moat. And Lady Rothe makes her way to the rear of the ship, to this raised platform that's right at the very back, where normally you would find the helm. But the helm on this ship is at the prow, you notice. But she stands at the back. And the platform that she stands upon ripples and glows with power. And the sails begin to unfurl themselves. Ropes begin to whiz through pulleys, and she begins to talk each of you through what's happening and how it applies to the job and the role that you've chosen. Fabric wings from the ship extend out at the sides, and the ship begins to move faster, jetting. At first it's slow, but it gets quicker and quicker the further she gets away from the dock. And after a minute or so, the sails suddenly extend to their full height, and the ship lurches forward. And at the rear of the ship, Lucy stands enveloped in a flickering orange light and smiles to herself. The sky is scudded with light clouds. There is a strong breeze blowing from the west, filling the sails of Swiftwind. Thundertree is about 30 miles away, she says, and her grin widens even further. We should be there in a little over an hour. 30 miles? In just over an hour? She was right. This vessel is fast.
It's a mile.
Is there anything you would like to do during this journey, besides learning?
Alright, myself, Thundertree,
gonna read your book.
Can I play my lute, Dave?
Yeah.
I'll play my lute.
And I'll join you. You're playing your lute. I'll surprisingly just pull out a flute. And start playing on a wave the flute.
Oh, lute.
Nice. Let's do a little jam sesh.
I'm gonna tap my foot.
Sweet.
Okay, so Moxie and Voldrun are having a jam as you soar through the skies at an astonishing 30 miles an hour. Anyone else doing anything?
Are we heading to Thundertree? Is that right?
Yeah, that was the plan. Thundertree first.
I'm gonna say to Woo. I'm gonna say, do you remember Woo? We got that book. There was something about Thundertree that I don't know. People kept acting all weird whenever we talked about it. We bought that. Maybe there's something in there that might be useful for us to know before we get there.
I will look in my book right now. Your book? Our book?
It's your book, Woo. I mean, my eyes might be good. Can't be poring over texts.
Okay, so Moxie and Voldrun are jamming. Woo is reading his book. Uther, what are you up to?
Listen to the my foot.
I'm gonna turn the flute round.
His book, volume 11.
Fancy.
His book, volume 11. His book, volume 11. You know this, Dave?
What's up?
It's called Map Bitch's Book, volume 11.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, you named it that, mate.
Did I? I must have been quite drunk.
Yeah, there's a woman in the town that sells maps and books of law, things you can research about where you're going to go, and you named her Map Bitch. She has a name, but yeah, fuck her name, I guess. She's Map Bitch. She's not an important NPC that I've poured my heart and soul into creating. She's just fucking Map Bitch, yo! Alright. So you're reading your book. Uther, you're just listening to the music. You're doing anything else?
Oh, maybe look over the edge of the boat as well and just taking the view.
Okay. Dokal, what are you up to?
I'm wondering why my beard's not floating like in the wind really fast. It's just like a steady.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. There's quite a breeze whipping up around the ship, but Dokal's beard just flutters slowly, like not at all as you'd expect it to behave in this quite strong wind that's forming around you. Almost like it's got its own physics.
I reckon it's started with Vox sperm. It's a common hair product now back in camp.
No,
it's not. Anything else, Dokal?
No, I'm just going to wait and prepare, ready for the village.
Okay. Darwin. And Tabitha.
Come on.
Like Howard Moon with the.
You muted, James.
I'm going to stand at the bow with my arms outstretched and go, I'm on top of the
world! There's always one. And what's Tabitha doing?
Chat. No, we're rat, she said.
Chat with a rat.
Yeah.
Is it?
Okay, you Tabitha, you understand the rat, even though the rat doesn't really speak. But you quickly understand that Pat has beef with Fergus, and it sounds old, and he's telling you, you know, that fucker. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into detail, Tabs, but you know, I mean, me and him, we've got some fucking issues, and don't you worry, I'll fucking square him up. I don't want to get you involved, Tabs. It's nothing to do with you. You know, it's between me and him. It's nothing to do with you. Keep out of it. I don't want to fuck with your friendship with the weird goat-legged woman and all that. But me and that little mushroom motherfucker, we're gonna... You know, there's gonna be a reckoning. That's all I'll say.
setting up a little boxing ring. Let's go.
Oh, wait! You don't hear that. Moxie. You don't hear that.
Oh,
That's entire. Only Tabitha hears that.
All right, yeah.
I put 2 gold on the rat.
What have I done?
Flick now.
Place your bets.
Okay, Moxie and Voldron, I would like your choice. Either both of you to make a performance check, or one of you to make a performance check with advantage.
Probably
like to take the lead, or you take the lead, or you seem to be preoccupied with Captain Possum.
Yeah.
So, I'll take the lead on this one.
Yeah, just come on, sit down, you.
Okay, so you're doing it, are you, Johnny, with advantage?
Yes, please. It's gonna be terrible. So that'll be good.
Pretty good.
Awesome. Good. I like to double.
By my reckoning, I haven't checked your character sheets, by the way, but by my reckoning, any of you that had advantage on your character sheet used it in the last session. So none of you currently have advantage, even though it might show it on your character sheet. You can tell that by at the top it says advantage and there's a little picture of a dragon.
Yeah.
So none of you have that.
Do you mean is it inspiration? You mean
inspiration? Sorry, what did I say? Advantage.
Advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing, but yeah, I mean inspiration. So none of you currently have advantage. But as you go along this journey, Moxie, Voldron, and Uther, because you specified you were spending most of your time listening to this music, the 3 of you now have inspiration.
Yeah.
So on your character sheets, I've done yours for you, Voldron. Moxie and Uther, you can click that little box, add the little dragon to it. That's advantage at any time. Whenever you want to use it, it's basically a re-roll is the best way to describe it. You don't have to use it. You don't have to declare it. You don't have to say, I'm going to use this ability with advantage. You can roll, fail, and then re-roll it using that inspiration. It's a one-shot deal.
Cool.
Okay. And then...
What do I click? What do I click, Dave?
So on your character sheet, over on the left-hand side where all your stats are down the left,
yeah,
you know, strength, dexterity, etc., you'll see a little box that says this character sheet's all fucked up. Hang on.
I feel like I'm back in Star Wars Galaxies and I've just
inspiration
play and got myself a little book.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's what me and Leanne. That's all me and Leanne did for 2 years was get high, pretend to be musicians in Star Wars Galaxy.
Oh, that was so
tick
good.
That little box. Tick that little box, Leanne. It gives you a little dragon. That's inspiration.
All right.
So it's a one-shot deal. Re-roll or advantage whenever you want it, but once you use it, it's gone.
Yep.
And also, if ever any of you think I've done something really cool, say to me, Dave, that was really cool. Do I get inspiration? And I'll either say, yes, you do, or fuck off, you cheeky cunt. Woo, reading your book. Give me a. What's your Give me a what do you call it? A history roll, please.
History. Yeah.
Cool. This is to sort of describe your speed of absorption of knowledge. It isn't what you know; it's how quickly you absorb what's in the book. So this book that you found is a bit of a history on Thundertree, and you quickly gather from reading it that the village of Thundertree has a history of tragedy. According to what the book admits are very sparse records, it has been rebuilt at least 5 times in the last 2 centuries. It is considered to be an ill-omened place. The earliest records that Neverwinter has, which aren't great because Neverwinter was burnt to the ground itself, the earliest records indicate that it was destroyed by a black dragon, which is odd. The book notes, because it's not the sort of terrain one would expect a black dragon to be in. Black dragons tend to live in and around swamps. So the book speculates that something must have drawn the dragon here to Thundertree. And then later, a few decades later, the village was rebuilt and then sacked by orcs. This is about a century ago. Not particularly uncommon. There was a big orc rampage through this area at the time, which kind of explains Dukal's family to some extent. And then around 60 years ago, during an event... No, around 100 years ago, during the event known as the Spell Plague, the entire village just vanished, save for a statue at the heart of the village. And then 40 years ago it was rebuilt again, and then it was destroyed again around 20 years ago by a black dragon again. And now this is the point, this is recent history, and this is where there's a bit more detail in the book. The dragon was encountered, confronted, and dispatched by a legendary group of adventurers known as Bound by Fate. And you've heard of this name before. And these are the adventurers that are credited with being part of the reason that Neverwinter survived the Rage of Dragons. And it says in this book that this black dragon in Thundertree was encountered shortly before the event known as the Rage. And it also says that one of the adventurers in that party spoke with the dragon. And the dragon seemed confused. It asked strange questions like how had the village been rebuilt so quickly? And it accused the adventurers of magical trickery, trying to confuse it. And it names one of the adventurers involved as Sylvada. And you realise that last night you met someone called Sylvada, and he was captain of the guard. And it describes in the book that he had the ability to see magic. And he said that the land here around Thundertree was riddled with arcane power. He said that Mistress Weave was embedded into every rock, stone, and blade of grass. The book also goes on to explain that afterwards, after this incident, Lord Neverember sent a team to investigate. And the team was led by someone named Sharwin Creel. And Sharwin theorised that this area was one of the places where the raw stuff of the weave, Mystra's arcane weave that creates all magic in the multiverse, became condensed here, and the spell plague ended. The spell plague was theorised to have taken all magic from the multiverse and then returned to... And some describe it as returning in big blobs that spread out. And this book explains that Thundertree might be one of the areas where that happened. Arcane power hit this area and spread out. And it describes Thundertree as one of the places in the world where the residual arcane essence is alarmingly high. The laws of nature, magic, and time hold little sway here. And then there is a note at the bottom of this entry in the book that says, "Travellers be wary. You cannot be prepared for what you might encounter in this place."
That's reassuring.
Okay. On this journey, you leave the bustling city of Neverwinter behind and travel east towards the village of Thundertree. The noise and the crowds are left behind, replaced by peaceful sounds of the wind, the creak of the ship's timbers. Lady Rothe guides the ship, so it follows the river and heads east towards the Neverwinter Wood. Wait. Has it? It never worked. God damn it. That's annoying. I spent a lot of time doing that and it didn't work. On either bank of the Nether are wide open. To the south, they stretch as far as the eye can see. The grass here is tall and golden and sways gently in the breeze, and in the distance there are herds of tiny, distant wild horses grazing upon rolling hills, and flocks of birds soar through the sky, giving no mind to the strange vessel upon which you ride. And there are farms and homesteads dotted here and there, with fields of crops stretching around them. The occasional farmer stares up at your vessel, scratching their head in wonder. To the north stands a mountain range, thrusting skyward from a green canopy of wood. The ominous sight of Mount Tottenau stands at its highest point. A steady plume of grey smoke emerges from its peak. It has been 60 years since the mountain last vented its rage. Some believe that was an ill omen of things to come. The returning, the plague changed, the rage, all of these things are blamed upon the eruption by those of a superstitious nature. But a level-headed, sensible individual realizes this is not entirely true, but not entirely untrue. For all things are connected, one way or another. All things are in balance, until they are not. After just over an hour's travel, you catch your first glimpse of Thundertree in the business. In the business? In the distance. Sorry, I was reading two things at once. There, calls Lucy from the helm. The village lies nestled in a small valley, surrounded by dense forests. You can see roofs of buildings peeking out from behind trees, and a faint plume of smoke rising from chimneys. This is not the ruin that Alice described to you. From your vantage point high above, you see people tending to gardens, a blacksmith hammering away at his foot. You can hear the distant sound of metal ringing against metal, and there's an inn, well cared for. You can hear the lively sounds of drinking drifting towards you. It's welcoming, inviting. The village square is bustling. There are a number of carts selling who knows what, standing around a bubbling fountain, and you see a statue of some sort of armoured warrior east end of town, and then suddenly, in the blink of an eye, everything changes as the ship begins to pass overhead. And you see now that Thundertree is ruined and has been completely overtaken by nature. Thick trees, bushes have grown up all around, obscuring the village from view. The stone walls that surround the village are crumbled and covered in ivy, giving the place a haunted, overgrown feel. Perhaps this village was once a thriving community. There are remains of old houses and buildings, their walls partially collapsed and covered in moss and vines. The wooden roofs have long since rotted away, leaving nothing but empty shells. Broken pottery, bits of rusted metal lie scattered on the ground. The only remnants of the people who once lived here. And the village's square is now little more than a clearing in the forest, where the fountain that stands there is now nothing but a thick mass of plant life, bushes and vines, entangled around a couple of gnarled trees. But on the north edge of the village, there is a windmill. Its sails long stripped of fabric, the wooden fanes rotted and crumbling. And the air here is several degrees cooler. There is a sense of foreboding. Something isn't right. There's a clearing, says Lucy, pointing slightly south of the village. I'll drop you there. You'll have to make the rest of your way on foot.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Lucy brings the ship around, circling the village. There's no signs of life as you pass overhead. And about 100, 200 yards away from the village, there is the clearing. And she lowers the ship as much as she can. You realise she can't land it. And she drops a few anchors, which seem to lock it to the ground. And then you see rope ladders spill over the side of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll be here when you're ready to leave, and we'll be on to Candlekeep, she says.
I'm gonna get on one of the ropes straight away and just descend.
I'll follow.
Okay, I'd like to introduce you to your new screen. This is your status screen. This tells you everything you need to know. Character's name, their class, their level. You can see at a glance what their HP is. You can see who's in the lead for kills and deaths. But most importantly, there is a marching order. So up in the top right of this screen, this is your formation, so to speak. And this doesn't include distance from one another. So this is where I want you to arrange yourself how you're progressing. North is the lead. You should be able to all move this and manipulate this.
What time of day is it now?
It's still early morning. It's not even midday yet. So Johnny, I'll show you the marching order as it is at the moment. So North is up front. So can everyone see it?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to move yourselves as well. So arrange yourself how you want to be.
I think that's a good order, per se, for combat, and we just swap the middle rank for the back one when marching. And me and Luciana will take the rear.
Lucy's not actually with you. She's not coming. She's staying with the ship.
Well,
I'm happy where I am.
I believe Pat's on there as well. I don't know if I gave Pat a character sheet.
Pat the Rat's there.
Yeah, I don't know if I've given Tabitha a character sheet for Pat, but he is there.
Yeah, see him.
Everyone happy with that?
Yeah. See him.
Is that Hayden snoring from Seven?
Oh, is he gone, has he?
Normally he dies on camera. Tonight it's
for a lay down.
Just rest
okay.
eyes for a second.
Just for a moment, I'll close my eyes. Close the door. Just one moment while I reconfigurize something.
Look into my eyes. Don't look around the eyes. Look into my eyes.
All right. No, that's not what I meant to do at all. Where the fucking hell is... Okay.
Yeah, for marching, shall we put all the ranged people in the middle and I'll just take the rear guard?
Sure.
Okay, so Tabitha, Valdron, Moxie, Darwin at the rear. So in this particular case, it doesn't much matter, but that's what I'm going to start doing every time we move anywhere. Is I'm going to give you that script. for you to tell me how you're moving and where you are. But for right now, you descend the ladder and you begin to move through and this trail that you begin to follow back towards the village, and gradually the trail leads to a more civilized lane that winds between high layers, dilapidated buildings, crumbled stone, rotten wood, and long since abandoned sort of scenes of living. Ahead of you, in the middle of the settlement, that you begin to see MVP Liz.
Just like back from
you
just resting my eyes for a moment.
Come on,
Liz should be playing. She's like MVP, and she's never even rolled a dice. Ahead, maybe 10 minutes, not that long.
That's all right.
What's the last thing you remember? Do you remember the bit with the dragon attack?
Do you remember when everyone died? Do you remember when you grew a second set of legs?
Spider Liz.
No, so you've just basically arrived in Thundertree.
Okay. Brilliant. Good.
So ahead of you, as you come through this forest path, you see this settlement. Although, as you passed overhead, for a moment you thought it was full of life, and now it's clearly not. It's clearly ruined. And there is this steep hill at the heart of the village. And upon this steep hill stands a windmill. And Uther, you recognise this windmill from your dream.
Yes. It wasn't a bad dream, Voldrin. It was a good dream, good omens. It wasn't that kind of dream, Voldrin.
More of a,
there is
an image of impending.
There is a partially collapsed roof on the windmill. There's an adjoining cottage as well. And there is a dirt road that hugs the base of the hill, wends its way between the remains of the various stone houses, many of which are roofless ruins, with their interiors open to the weather. Other buildings appear more or less intact, but they are, none of them are undamaged. They all look a bit fucked up, and the whole place is eerily silent. And there is a pristine sign standing by the side of this path that you pass, nailed to a tree, and it reads, "Welcome to Thundertree," and it flickers once and twice, and then it's gone as you approach.
It's strange.
And I would like you all to roll initiative, please.
I would like you to roll me initiative, Dave.
I will roll you initiative, Jonathan, because that's the kind of guy I am. So, for a recap, because it's been a while, select your token on the map, which you should all be able to see. Have I put you on the map? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then click the initiative button on your character sheet. So strong roll, Vondrel, 22.16. Lots of 20. Everything. I'm drunk. Fuck you.
I'm not, but I fully appreciate who you are.
Oh, look at me and Uther, like brothers.
Aye, brother.
Oh, somehow related.
Brother.
It's like you might be related. You're both human, after all. I mean, what's the chance?
I'm not your dad, Drukal.
He might be your dad, Drukal. You're both human. You both got good beards.
It's in the games. You don't get a beard like this unless you got good genes.
Who are we waiting for? There's Tabitha. Tabitha's not appeared on the initiative order because James has let us down with his clicking. Oh, James!
Wow.
Why would you do that?
Weird day.
5.16 Tabitha. Who are we missing? Brown has also ruined his clickage. Ooh. 20.14. Who are we missing? Still missing one. Who is it? Woo! Woo, we haven't got an initiative from you. Oh, we have. You just failed to click on things. God damn it, Woo. God damn it, Woo.
Click on Dave. Oh, now I can. Never mind.
Sorry. So next, we've got some rollies to do here. Woo and Voldron roll a d20. Decal's on twice. Why is Decal on twice? 1, 2, 3. Who's missing? Darwin. What did you roll again, James? For some reason you've disappeared 20 before.
Well,
So me, Brownie, and Decal are rolling off.
Yeah. So, Uther, Decal, James roll a d20. Also, Voldron and Woo roll a d20. Do you want me to do yours for you, Johnny?
sorry, I've rolled on Alison's character.
It's alright. It's only a d20. It doesn't really matter. So, so Darwin, followed by Uther, followed by Decal, and then Hayden, roll a d20, please.
I like how we're going in order of seniority, James and Ed.
So that's exactly as it is. That is the turn order. Voldron, Woo, Darwin, Uther, Decal, Moxie, Tabitha. I do realise it's 10:05. It's up to you guys.
I'm working.
Got to be up for work till tomorrow on Sunday.
Hey?
But I got to be up for work tomorrow.
I'm in work tomorrow.
Oh yeah, what, on Sunday?
Yeah, double time.
We've got an early start tomorrow morning, so
Yeah.
I think me and Alison could do with getting off early if possible.
Yeah.
It's entirely up to you if you guys want to call it there.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll
I might
begin the
have
next
a
session.
Screen so I can see the map.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
That's what you see, by the way, guys.
Dean.
This is Thundertree.
So yeah, I can carry on.
Yeah.
Quick 10-minute power nap. How great.
Back in the game.
Back in the game. Just laid back where he's talking and just went.
Oh, stop.
Oh God, I can't see. There we go.
No. I'm down, GM down.
No. It's just all it is Johnny. I'm just trying to show Johnny what you see. Just a second.
Not
Where's
Black Dragon,
Voldron? Oh yeah, there's dragons everywhere, Johnny. In fact, there's at least 3 up your ass. Just worming around, you know,
How did you
being
know?
dragony. Pretty gay dragons. Always go for the arse. Hang on. Watcher. Let's put Watcher. There we go. That's them. So if I do that, there we go. So this is what you see, Johnny.
Ah, cool, yeah. Excellent. What's that?